All right, we are live again with Warriors Next Adventure podcast. Again, Warriors Next Adventure is a veteran nonprofit. We use recreational therapy to help vets with PTSD, and we do suicide prevention. We got the WNA Top 50 where we climb mountains, and we have the Operation Wolf Dogs where we actually get to go play with wolves up in Sandstone. We also have the WNA BJJ where we train jiu-jitsu around the country. Today, my guest is Christian Reed. How you doing, Christian?
Doing good.
Dude, so we met what was that 2017 when I first moved over to Spartan Martial Arts.
Yep.
And we trained jiu-jitsu together. So how long you been training jiu-jitsu?
I actually started it in like 06, 07. I dabbled, but it was in college. Like, guy was a white belt who did judo, who knew some guys who did jits. Didn't do it for like 6-7 years after that. Did CrossFit and then got back into it and been doing Spartan for like 6 years now.
Oh, okay.
So it's been one of those like 15-year white belt, but kind of 6 years.
Bro, it's the same with me. I started in 07 and I was a white belt until I think September. Yeah, September 2015, dude. So I was a long time white belt.
Dude, it was harsh back in the day.
I think the first time I saw you was at a tournament. I just remember names or faces really well. It was like back in 2014 or something like that. I think it was at the Minneapolis Convention Center. That might have been Sub Hunt. I'm pretty sure.
Was it Sub Hunt or was it shit? There's another one. The Minneapolis Convention Center. I think that's the first time I ever won a gold.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I remember that tournament.
We didn't compete in that one. There was a girl in my division too. It wasn't that Cassie girl. It was some chick from like I think North Dakota or something like that. But one of my buddies was like, "Man, are you really gonna go against the girls?" Like, fuck yeah, she wants to compete with the boys. She's gonna get choked out with the boys. I was like, I'm not gonna go light on her just because she's a girl. I mean, what would that do for her?
Dude, I worked over a girl one time in a tournament. I was like, I'm gonna give you the respect to treat me the same as everybody else, and it wasn't exactly a kind experience for her, but she was happy the whole time.
Well, I mean, if a girl wants to compete in the men's division, I don't care. It's fine. It's whatever. But don't expect me to fucking take it easy on you,
Do you know Akila?
Yeah.
Akila, yeah. So one time I was rolling with her and I was like, yo, like, I want to be, because we started about the same time, and I was like, I don't want to be that guy, like, and she got angry. She's like, you treat me like everybody else. I'm no different than you. I don't want to, and like got hot because I was like, I'm going to roll with you different. After that, I've had times where she worked me over, to be honest. I'd like to think most of the time I got some pretty good, but she was like, she was just happy. She's like, I don't want anybody to treat me any different. If I wanted to roll with girls, I wouldn't be in the class with all the dudes.
But she was great. I rolled with her quite a few times, but she did get kind of pissed.
She got hot. Yeah. She gets hot.
She's good though. I mean, I've seen her fight quite a few times. Like I work for LFA. Whenever they come to town, I build their cages for them, and I fought for them back in 2018. And so I've been building the cages left and right, which is nice because I build the cage and then I get to sit cage side for the fights, and then I just tear down the cage and I get paid. I get paid for it. I literally get paid to sit cage side and watch fights. It's awesome.
I remember the first time, like, because I seen you around, but the first time I like learned your name was the time you fought Cam.
Yeah.
So
when they came, it was Princess. And my fight name was Princess.
Yeah, you came out.
It's stupid.
And it was just like me and another guy went there with Cam, and I seen it, and I was like, oh, I've seen him doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then, but at the time I was so like, Cam was crazy. I was like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, dude, Cam, dude, everybody told me not to fight Cam, but I was like, fuck it, why not? What's the worst that's gonna happen? I get fucking knocked out, who cares? And I actually shit my pants in that fight. Believe it or not. Oh yeah. I don't think I ever told Cam because I started training with you guys maybe like a month after that fight because I was like, if Cam beat me, I might as well go train with them.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I lost to one of the best in the United States, so fuck it, I'm gonna go train with him. And then he proceeded to choke me out every fucking time we rolled. So I loved rolling with the guy. But I think I had a really bad weight cut and I was super bloated and I rehydrated improperly. So my body was just super bloated and I felt like shit, right? And I was about 190 the night of the fight and we were fighting at 170. So I did not rehydrate properly. Usually I can do that normally and be fine, but for some reason my body just didn't like it. And then next thing you know, the fucking first round, he hits me with a takedown and drives his shoulder right into my gut. And I farted and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should have trusted that. And so I'm sitting here squeezing my ass cheeks together. He's beating the fuck out of me on the ground. The bell rings and I go sit down in my chair in the corner. And I look at my coach and be like, guys, shit my pants. And he's like, wait, what? I was like, I shit my pants. And I was like, there's a ball of shit in my pants right now. And so I had spandex on, thank God. And I squeezed the shit out of it, literally. And it like was stuck in there, so it was just like a paste, So the second round, I was so unconfident in that second round, man. And I was like, shit, how am I going to do this? And so I just started throwing some punches and he took me down, dude. And he got side control. And I fucking hate when people are in my side control on top side. So I put my feet down and he passed and he mounted me, which is exactly what I wanted. I was like, perfect. And I swept him perfectly, exactly how I wanted, but I fucked up and I left my arm up and he got me a head and arm choke. And so he choked me out and I tapped real quick and I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I got to go to the bathroom. So I get up and they raise my hand and like everybody's like, I got hit in the nose a few times. I think I broke my nose in that fight. But I had just blood running down my nose and they're packing me and shit. I was like, can I go to the bathroom? But like, you need to be seen by the doctor. I was like, I literally have a chunk of shit in my shorts right now. So I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
That's the shit. That's why I didn't do MMA. People are like, Christian, why didn't you ever fight? I'm like, I seen what happens. Dude, I've heard of so many people busted nose. Yeah. And I think I heard another fighter like, yo, I punched this guy so hard he shit his pants. I'm like, I don't want that business.
Bro, it was the worst. The funny thing, I had white shorts on, but luckily like it didn't stain because my spandex held it in very well. I was so happy.
That's good. That's a good fucking brand of spandex.
I know, right? I should give them a shout out. I don't remember what kind they were. They're probably Nike or some shit. But yeah, so after that, I came to Spartan and started training with you guys. I trained with you most morning. No, I think it was night times, wasn't it?
Yeah, because at the time I was only training night. I only did mornings and like, honestly, right after my hike, I was unemployed. So I was like, well, fuck it.
Yeah. Might as well train jiu-jitsu,
Do morning and do an afternoon, apply for jobs in the middle. What else do you got to do?
So, what year did you do your hike? So I don't know if I said this yet, but Christian, a big reason why I have you on here, dude, is you hiked the Pacific Crest Trail all the way through, which I think is fucking amazing. And I followed your whole trip, as you were going along. I was just like, this guy is fucking awesome. I was like, I'm so envious right now. And every time you posted, I was so excited to read about it just to see like where you're at and how you're doing. And didn't you wear like the same shorts the whole trip?
Dude, I wore Ranger panties. I didn't wear Ranger panties.
Yeah.
My girlfriend for Christmas bought me a gray pair of Softy running shorts. I still fucking have them and they're still good enough to wear, but they're actually serviceable. Like if anybody ever buys Ranger panties, no, those fuckers can last 2,800 miles.
Okay, so it's 2,800 miles. Where does it start and where does it end?
Well, actually, it's 2,650 kind of with fire closures and shit. It starts at the Mexican border fence in Campo, California, and it ends at the Canadian border, 8 miles south of some Canadian resort that I can't remember the name of.
So did you start down south?
Yeah, I started, literally like Mexican border fence, razor wire. There's this monument and you take some photos and then you just start walking.
That's fucking crazy, dude. So what made you want to do that?
I've been thinking about what I would say because I know everybody asks this. To be honest, I'd been visiting more national parks and I kind of was like, I need to do something crazy before I have a kid and get married. Like because once you got a kid, once you get married, you're a dad. You can't go do something crazy like this anymore. And I was like, well, now hated my job. Knew I was going to look for a new one. Fuck it. What's in the middle? Might as well just. So I saved up for like a year and kind of coasted. And to be honest, I just knew. I seen videos online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just got enamored to the point where it was like an obsession, and I just couldn't not do it.
That's awesome. I love that. How much? So how much did it cost you?
So I think on like the cost of doing it for me was like, I think I ended up being like $5,000, but
That's not terrible.
But then on the 4 or 5, yeah, it was like 5, maybe 6. But then on top of that, I have a mortgage. So I had to pay that. My girlfriend helped me out, and then like some utilities and that like shit you can't get away from. So I think I did the math. It was like 12.
That's not terrible.
No, I mean, if you want to buckle down real hard, I think you could save that. A lot of people, if they want to, could.
Well, basically. Yeah, you think about all the bullshit that people do. Like, since I stopped drinking, man, like I realized how much I was drinking because I have a lot more money. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm on like 8 or 6 months now. And sometimes I'm just like, where is this money coming from? And it's like, oh, I'm not being a piece of shit anymore.
It's when I came back from jiu-jitsu, like there were nights where it'd be like, I'm going to throw 2 bricks of ramen and some like Costco chicken, and that's going to be my dinner. Like if you want to get crazy buckling down, and I didn't drink, I didn't smoke weed. I think the only thing I did is I chewed tobacco. I didn't feel like quitting that because chew is awesome. But I mean, it's not good for you, but
man, I tried it for the first time in Iraq, actually, on a convoy. Not smart, because we were bumping up and down and jumping and shit. And I was just like, yeah, sure, we'll see what happens. I fucking threw up all over the side of the Humvee. I'm a bitch, I know.
The first time I tried it was in basic training. The day we graduated, somebody would pass around pouches. I took a pouch and thought I was going to throw up. And I laid in my bunk for like 2 hours just watching the spins.
Yeah, that shit is just, I'm not a huge fan. I tried it a few times in Afghanistan because I had a couple guys that chewed there, and I just wasn't a fan. The buzz was okay, but at the same time, I was just like, it's not really for me. So I stopped doing it.
So when I went through the High Sierra, I figured out how to roll my own cigarettes because tobacco and stuff is so expensive.
Yeah.
People would crest the pass, be like 13,000 feet in the air, in the mountains. And I'd be sitting there rolling a cigarette. People be like, what the fuck? You just got to the top of a goddamn mountain. And I'd be like, do you know what the buzz is like off a cigarette after you just worked your ass off for 6, 8, 10 miles to get up here? It's glorious. You have a little cigarette, look around, eat some snacks. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we just climbed Mount Elbert over in Colorado about 2 weeks ago, and we had. Oh man, it was amazing. That was the best trip ever. I love those guys. We did the Manitou incline, and that's like, I think, a 2,000 meter incline. And it's like 0.88 miles or something like that. Sure, fucking like straight up. And then we trained jiu-jitsu at Team Chaotic Combat Sports down in Fountain, which is just south of Colorado Springs. And then, fuck you, Steve. He called us pussies because it makes us throw up.
Oh, dude, I haven't had chew in 5 months, but I'm an upper decker. It was like a 10 every 3 days. That's why you see me fucking doing this thing, because I was burning through. I did the math, and it was like, $30 a chew a week or something.
Good God, guy, that's fucking expensive.
When I was deployed, I was a FOBIT. I used to carry around a log of chew just for people who couldn't fucking get chew. And they'd know I had. Yeah, and then they'd see me and they'd be like, Hey, you got chew. Can I have a dip? And I'd be like, what's your job? I sit in a guard tower all day. I'd be like, here's a tin. What's your job? I'm the XO. I don't got any chew for you.
Nah,
With
sorry, guy.
seen a medic one time, and I was like, you remember my fucking name? Here's a pack of cigarettes too.
Where were you deployed to?
I was in was it Salerno?
Where the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
it's like 20. I think they said it was like 20 clicks west of the Pakistani border.
Oh, okay. So just west of. Were you on the?
I was in
So
RC.
like,
No, wait, no, I was in RC. Was it RC East? So
I
it's
can't remember where that's at. Where's it from? Kabul. I was in Bagram.
I don't even remember. I got a map on the wall, but I forget all the directions.
Oh, that's fine.
Basically, my job was to sit in a helicopter, fly around with boxes of money, and I was the finance dweeb. So I
Nice.
didn't know where anything was. I just hoped to God the fucking helicopter crew figured it out.
Just hope you didn't get shot down.
Yeah,
Fucking chilling.
yeah, which was a lot of fun. To be
Yeah.
honest, I was like, people were like, "You're a finance." I was like, "Dude, you know how
Combat
fun."
finance.
You ever know how fucking fun it is for a command sergeant major to bring you a cup of coffee because you did him a solid and helped it? Well, you weren't on the rotation, but we're gonna come out and help you. CSMs were walking up. You want a cup of coffee? I was like at E5. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you got any creamer for that? Yeah, I'll go get you some creamer. I'm like,
That's fucking awesome.
remember this name?
Yeah, we flew into Iraq from Kuwait in Blackhawks, and part of the reason why my hearing's so fucked up is they didn't have windows, so I was sitting in the back right,
The
and
hurricane seat.
yeah, so I didn't fucking think of that, and so I got on that thing and I sat down. I was like, "Oh, this is nice. I got a window seat." And then the guy getting us in there's like, "That's the worst spot on the helicopter." I'm like, "Fuck it, I'll be fine." But the wind blew my earplug out, and so I had like fucking like 100-mile-an-hour winds getting shot in my fucking eardrum for like was like a 30-minute flight or something like that. So we get into Buka, and all the guys are like yelling and shit, and I'm just like, "What?" And I couldn't fucking hear anything, and I was just like, "I can't hear shit." And so I like smacking my fucking head for like a month. And then finally, like it started to come back a little bit. But we flew out on Chinooks. That was cool. Chinooks were
I,
fun as shit.
dude, I'm upset. I had a chance to do a Chinook one time,
Mm-hmm.
and like 3 storms came in, and the Chinook pilot pussed out like 10 minutes before he hit the LZ. It's
Oh,
too,
really?
it's too sketchy. It's too sketchy. I'm like, I've never flown on a Chinook. I want to get it out. I was
It's
just
fun, man. It was cool because like we were flying out of Buka. I think we were going to Ali Asalim or I can't. What's that other base? Beering. I think it's Camp Beering. But anyway, we were flying there, and I got to sit in the very back, and so the door gunner was just sitting there hanging out, and then they left the door down the whole time, so I actually had to sit there and watch the lights of Buka fly away. That's like the most beautiful sight in the world because if anybody's been to Camp Buka, that place sucks. It's like a death trap. I fucking hate that place. We didn't get like attacked or anything like that, but it just sucked. And for some reason, there was a prison on base, and so like everybody at that base was like super depressed. Everybody hated their fucking jobs. Like I was ASO, so the air security. So I was a 50 cal gunner, and we drove around and we did route clearance. And so I was the lead gunner, and we'd find IEDs and shit, and call and wait for EOD, and like that was fun. But the second you get back on base, it's just like pure depression. Like everybody looks like they hated their fucking jobs.
I got a buddy of mine when I was in college. He was an engineer. You know those GPRs, the ground
No,
penetrating radars?
yeah, yep.
So I guess like he was one of the first people to like man one in the same area I ended up deploying to.
Hmm.
And that's all he did is route clearance. He's like, yeah, I got blown up 10 times. I was like, that sounds fucking terrible. And he's like, no, man, it was so much fun. I was like, wait, he's like, yeah, they blew me up and I'd fly in the air and then I'd land. And I was like, you fucking engineers. I told him, I was like, I am so goddamn glad I joined the sissy service. Like
were you
I'm
were
a
you Army
sit.
Reserves?
No, I was guard.
You were okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I did like did I actually got out in the year before the PCT. It was like
Okay.
December 16, and I did the PCT in like April of 18.
Gotcha.
Actually, I would
Okay.
have deployed. I was trying to get back in to a command position in the unit I was with before, and fucking army politics kept me out because I had pissed off a couple too many people in my time there. So I was just talking to my buddy
You
about,
piss people off?
dude,
What?
I know I'm the nicest guy on earth. So they were like, the sergeant major was like, I don't want that guy back. Everybody else was like, oh, he's a lot better than you think once you get to know him. The sergeant major wouldn't sign the paperwork. I said,
Oh,
fuck
that
you
sucks.
all. I got out. My
Yeah.
buddy was in Kuwait on a cycle when I was on the PCT. I'm hiking and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in the goddamn desert either way.
Yeah. So, what would you say, when you were getting started out, like what were your thoughts on it? How did you feel when you finally started walking? Was it just like, fuck, what am I doing? Or were you pretty excited or what?
For me, it was like, I mean, I think I'd spent like 9 months just scrimping and saving, like penny pinching,
Yeah.
all the gear planning, everything. So it was like relief, you know, it's
Just to
like
get on the
waiting
trail.
to get, it's like when you're going up that roller coaster, you
Yeah.
finally get to the top and you're like, okay, fine. I finally get to have some fucking fun. That's how it felt for me.
Nice.
A little
Well,
bit overwhelming, to be honest, because it's like, there is that thing of like, I just walked a mile and I have 2,649 miles left.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I don't know if it's the same for you, but I'm sure you can agree. But I think the one time where I feel like the happiest in the world, or like I feel like Superman, is when I wake up in the morning and I see my bags packed, ready to go, and I see those bags, and I know that I'm about to have a fucking adventure. That's the best feeling in the world to me.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. Um, yeah, that's when for Kelly and I now, I'm getting married. My fiance and I go on like a national park trip every year. So
Yeah,
when we see all of our luggage packed, yeah, that's that feeling of like, I don't got to go to work. I get to go see some cool shit. Get to go to cool places. It's fucking. Yeah, it's a pretty
oh, it's
damn. The only
just
thing that's
exploring
better
time,
for
man. Feels so good.
the only thing that's better for me is I've woken up like in the middle of nowhere, and it will be like a half a goddamn day on an ATV to get there, and you
Yeah,
can just wake up, look around, and you're like, I'm legitimately just in it. Then I can do whatever the fuck I want and just take it all. It's kind of like a moderately granola moment where you just kind of are like, yeah, this is why I fucking worked the other 50 whatever weeks out of the year.
yeah, yeah. No, I get it, man. And I think like when I went to Colorado, we drove. Um, I don't remember what time we left. We left at like 4 a.m. or something like that.
Oh, I've
But
done that drive.
yeah, it's really not that bad. I mean, it's like 14 and a half hours or something like that. We ended up going straight to Denver because we had an army guy that we were flying in, Jamie Murphy. He raised a shitload of money for us on Memorial Day, and so I bought him a ticket and I flew him out. And he uh we picked him up at the airport at like 7 p.m. So we left at like I think 4 or 5 a.m. And so we were there on time to pick him up. We may or may not have hit a dispensary first. I didn't, but other people
No,
may have.
well, what the hell else are you gonna do when you get to Colorado?
I know, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, what dispensary are you going to?" I was like, "Wait, what?" Dude, I'm not gonna lie. So I walked into that place and I was just like, "This is so illegal," and like I was just looking at all the shit, and I'm just like, "Bro, are we allowed to be in here?" Like I felt so weird because like it's
Yeah, yeah.
I yeah. So we walk up and the lady's just like, "So what do you want?" I was like, I don't fucking know. Like I've never bought weed before, so I don't know what's happening. So it's like they take you on like this long tour and they tell you about everything. It's like I don't fucking care. Just give me something that's gonna make me smile. And so it was fun, man. It was good times.
Dude, I went to Colorado in like, I think I was 16, with my buddy, but I was still in the guard. It was like 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's like, let's go to dispensaries. And I was like, you can do whatever you want, but unfortunately, the big green weenies got my name.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the PCT, I come around a corner. And even though it was legal and everybody knew it, nobody gave a fuck. My year was the first year, I think, it was legal in California, Oregon, and Washington. So you could buy weed legally start to finish.
Yeah.
You still find them dudes like high schoolers parked out behind a tree all sneaking up. And then you'd walk up and you'd be like, what are you doing? And they'd hide it. And you're like, it's fucking legal, man.
It's so crazy. I don't know why it's still illegal. Like I will argue anybody if they think that it should be illegal. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, I lean more towards being a libertarian, I guess. I think people should make their own choices. But you know, you think about, I'm not a huge fan of like taxes and stuff like that. But I mean, if we're gonna use the shit, why not sell it legally and then tax it and then use that money for like funding police for training so they don't fucking kill people, and you know, funding education and giving it to all kinds of, you know, the roads, all these things that we could actually use the money for. You know, I don't get it.
No, I think it's the dumbest thing. Like you said, we can use it for taxes. I know a lot of people that they're like, it's either this, booze, or some fucked up narcotic that's going to do God knows, that's going to end up causing more of the heroin epidemic or the opioid epidemic. And
I know a lot of folks who use weed rather than using opiates, and they actually stop taking opiates because the weed helped them, and they can actually function, and they're not going to get addicted to it. You know.
I know a dude with ADHD, super fucking smart, but he's so ADHD that he goes, if I smoke weed all day, or I can take some fucked up narcotic, and what's the weed do to me?
Makes you smile a little bit, eat some
like
food,
it makes him
weight.
laugh more. He's got all these anger management issues. So he's like, when he was younger, he didn't smoke weed, used to get into a fight like a couple of times a week. As an adult, like go out and get into bar fights for fun. Well, he started smoking weed, doesn't get drunk, doesn't cause any mischief, just does his work, does his thing. He's 10 times happier. I'm like, why the fuck isn't this legal like 100 years ago?
It doesn't make any sense to me. And the prohibition, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because people are going to do it. You know, if you look at Portugal legalized everything, and they started treating drug use as a mental health disorder rather than a crime.
Yeah.
And they actually put all that money that's fighting crime into mental health. And so they actually started healing a lot of these guys and realizing that, hey, you know, people can heal from all this shit. And you don't have to sit here and, you know, you don't have to sit here and pop a bunch of pills to feel like shit. Maybe just smoke a little weed and you feel better. You know, I don't use drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that stuff. I just I meditate. That's how I get myself into the right, you know, state of mind. I know that's weird for a lot of folks, but
this is kind of my thing. I drink beer, but like for me, honestly, it's like if I'm really feeling stressed out, I take my dog for like a 3-mile walk. Just straight up exercise. You're outside, you're breathing as fresh air as you can get in the suburbs. And it just like, but I don't look down on people who do weed. I'm like,
no, I don't either. No, I think people should be able to do whatever they want. You know, people can do shit like that, whatever. I mean, but are you treating everybody well? You know, are you being nice to your neighbors? Are you being good to your kids? Are you taking care of your work? If you're doing all that stuff, who cares what you do in your free time?
I was hiking and I ran into this dude. I didn't see it, but like in California, it's so like normal. Yeah. These dudes walked up to this car and they had these, like, you call them trail angels. They're like basically people who will like give you rides. They'll leave coolers with snacks. Sometimes they'll fucking grill out for us.
Yeah.
And there was these old people waiting for hikers. So these hikers pile in this like van or something. Old guys, they said he was like 70 years old, just starts passing around a pen. And this guy's like, I don't do nicotine. And the old guy's like, that ain't nicotine. Fucking
so you guys all just piled inside some random rape van?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, trucks, vans, cars. I
That's
one time I
awesome.
walked up to a guy and he was just like coming back from a day hike, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You going that way? Yeah. Can I like sit in the back seat of your car until you get to town or whatever?"
Yeah.
He's like, he looked at me and he's like, fuck it, you seem okay. And some other dude just ran up. He's like, "Oh fuck, you're giving hikers rides?" And the guy's like, "I wasn't planning on it, but why don't you get in too?" And
That's
it just
awesome,
got to
dude.
be, well, how the fuck do you get to town? I'm not walking 10 miles on a highway. That was
Yeah,
kind of the
exactly.
logic.
Well, see, that's one of the things why I always talk about, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but when they talk about racism and all this stuff, it's like, dude, get out on the trails, man. Like everybody fucking treats each other great out there. Everybody. It's like
There,
one big family fucking hiking with each other, and then you see people of every single race, color, and creed climbing mountains and shit. It's like this is fucking awesome. This is what I love to see.
there's a girl that everybody fucking knew, Ari. She was Japanese. She did part of the trail as long as she could go until her visa or travel visa expired.
Yep.
Hiked with a guy from West Point. He was a black guy. Um, Hispanic people, like people from Australia, Europe, South America, not a lot of South America, some South America. I think we hiked with a guy who's legit from Africa, but I don't,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it was just like, are you a piece of shit? Like you treat people good. You don't, don't do any of the stuff that we don't like doing. And can you keep up? And then if you could do those two things, you're going to end up hiking with that person for a while. Nobody gives a
Mm-hmm.
women, men, like you just like you don't got the leisure to be picky. You're
Yeah.
basically a homeless person, and you get
Well,
to
see,
know
that's
people.
that's awesome though, because like I love I love this kind of stuff, and I read an article that actually kind of made me sad. Like I I don't know if I generally agree with it, but I guess I'm not in a position to say anything. But something along the lines of they're talking about like national parks have a racism problem or something like that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
No, they
so I
don't.
called one of my buddies, and he kind of explained it to me a little bit better. It's like, well, maybe people just don't feel like they're welcome there. I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna fucking fix that shit. And I was like, because I think that's bullshit. So I haven't really announced it yet, so I guess this is the first time I'm gonna announce it. I want to start something here fairly soon. I'm gonna have an adult liaison. I need to have at least one person come with because I don't trust. You never know. People are fucking weird. But I'm actually going to start taking kids hiking as a fundraiser. So I'm going to teach them like basic map reading. I'm going to take a compass out there, teach them shit like that. But just take them out and show them like what nature can do for you, and, like how healing it can be, and how how much you can learn about not only yourself but your friends, and how everybody just gets along on the woods, right? So I started thinking, it's like, you know what, everybody talks about problems, but nobody has solutions. And I hate that shit. It fucking drives me nuts. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I talk to some of my friends who do live in the inner cities and take at least one or two kids every time I go out there and take them out and take them hiking, show them some waterfalls, and like teach them how to, and this is all kids, like teach them how to take care of the trails, like, bring
Yeah,
trash bags and pick up trash, not to, run around on all the plants and leaves and shit and kill stuff. But just to understand that once you get out to the woods, like it, man, it's so healing, right? It's just you and nature. That's it. There's no social media. There's no fucking COVID. There's no none of that shit. And you're just out there having fun and living your life. I love that stuff.
when I was out on the trail, there were points where it was like you get cell reception on the top of a mountain, and there's cell reception because everybody's like, take it. It was so much fucking nicer because you didn't have access to all that shit. Like you come into town after a while, you're not looking for like news. You're not looking at all the negative bullshit. You just were, fucking enjoying it for what it is. And like you said, it clears your head. Yeah, everything you said was on point.
Yeah, I mean, it's calming. The only time I really feel like 100% at peace is when I'm either like sitting under a waterfall, or I'm climbing a mountain, or I'm like deep back in the woods, or I'm on a kayak or in a canoe, just doing something. I have to be off doing something, and I feel great about myself, about life, about everything. Like day to day life too. I mean, I'm fine. I'm happy. I love what I do with Warriors Next Adventure. I like all the phone calls and the conversations I get to have and the podcasts and hanging out with my girlfriend and her kids and my kids. And, like I'm generally, I'm a pretty happy person because how many other people get to go hiking and talk to people and make it somewhat a career. It's kind of fucking sweet.
Yeah, that's a pretty good gig you set up for yourself there.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend of mine say, "Is like, how'd you come up with the idea?" I was like, "Dude, I love hiking. I love nature. I like doing amazing things. I like feeling accomplished. I like, traveling. I like all of this shit. I love talking to people." I started to realize that, talking to veterans at their lowest points is something that I was pretty fucking good at. I had a few things that were thrown up on me at dispatch, but come to find out they were veterans and they were suicidal, and I talked them out of it. It's like, fuck, that feels really good, you know? And so I started thinking like, how can I put all this shit together? And like, what can I do to not only do something I love, but also maybe turn it into a career someday? So I'm like, I fucking love all that shit. And I guarantee you there's other people that probably would love that stuff, but they just either haven't been experienced or they haven't been introduced to it, or they're too fucking scared to. So I put the challenge out there, say, hey bitch, let's go climb a mountain. But then we talk about the inner demons while we're climbing. So
But
it's two for one.
the only thing that I get a kick out of is when you take vets hiking and they're like, I think they got like some trauma from the memories of the ruck marching, and you're like, oh, you don't have to carry 100 pounds of bullshit on your back. Like
Yeah.
some snacks and a water bottle and a rain jacket is all you need. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, it can actually be fun. Like I lace up and I don't feel like I'm about to fucking hate everything for the next 12 hours. I had a couple veterans I've run into. They're like, yeah, it's fucking, sorry, 12 miles out, kind of 12 miles out on the water and you lose yourself. I thought it said 12 miles out of water, and I was like, oh fuck, I've been there. That's not peaceful.
Yeah, Steve is I'm not really helping him, but I'm trying to help him get his nonprofit set up. He's about to start helping people, veterans down in I think he said Veterans First Responders Fire. Steve, comment if that's correct. But he's gonna be taking those guys out fishing down at Lake Okeechobee. It's that big ass lake down in South Florida. And he's got something really cool planned. It's called X-22 Adventures. So I'm gonna
That
try and
sounds
take a
pretty
few
sweet.
vets. Yeah, I'm trying to take a few vets to fly down there and do one of his adventures. So
Is
I
that
think he
part
said
of that
something.
thing? You have like your like East Coast and your West Coast guys, and you guys are all partnering up to like, different nonprofits all partner up type of things.
I partner up with everybody to fucking partner up with me, because the way I see it is, if I don't care. Let's say you have a nonprofit and we do some kind of fundraiser together and you make way more money than I do. I don't care, because it's going to go towards helping veterans. So all
Yeah,
I give a shit about is helping vets. That's the main focus. That's the main goal. My goal for WNA isn't raise money. It's not what I want to do. I need to start raising money though, because I got a lot of shit I need to get done. But I'd prefer to help vets. So if I can fly guys out and promote his nonprofit, and we're actually doing a podcast soon, but I try to have, CEOs, founders, presidents of all these different veteran nonprofits on here just to promote their stuff too, because, TJ Kreitzer, he's do you know the We Defy guys? I'm sure you know all
I,
of We Defy, right?
I've heard of We Defy,
So
but I'm not.
We Defy helps veterans who are 80% or more disabled. If you apply and you get accepted for a scholarship, they'll pay for a whole year of jiu-jitsu and give you like 2 gis, I think.
Oh yeah, I have heard of that. That's fucking
Yeah,
sweet.
dude, Gordon Ryan and I don't remember whose opponent was, but they just I think it was called East Coast Grappling or South Coast Grappling. Shit, I'm sorry, I forgot. But
It's all
whatever,
good.
it was a grappling company, and they had Gordon Ryan and this other guy. They raised like $12,000 for We Defy in one night. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that reminds me of the program we were talking about right before, where they have a similar thing but for through hiking. Where
That's
like,
pretty sweet.
because like I like the jujitsu things and I like the through hiking thing, kind of like
Yeah.
through hiking slightly more. But I ran into a guy who was part of a nonprofit that I think they sponsored like 10 through hikers a year. And I think
Yeah.
most of them were like 80% disabled.
I heard of one recently. I can't remember who it was, but it was like some coffee company. They were gonna send a shitload of veterans to climb, I think it was the Appalachian Trail.
Oh,
So
that'd be fucking
yeah,
harsh.
the Appalachian Trail is on my list for I would like to do it by 2025 if I can.
If you can hit me up, I'll fucking shake down hikes and shit with you. I'd be happy to, man.
Oh,
I
well, we need your experience, so
uh
I definitely take that.
Appalachia, that's actually, it's funny because that's like the one trail that I have no interest in because I'm all about like the giant panoramas in the mountains.
Yeah.
You're more of like the tree trail guy, aren't you? Like the
Uh,
green tunnel and kind of that. That's a fucking hard trail.
yeah, I
My
heard.
trail, I go fucking switchbacks to the mountain to a pass. Appalachian, you go straight up the goddamn mountain and straight down to the bottom and then straight up. You climb 3 mountains a day for like 120 days.
That sounds horribly awesome.
I hiked with guys who did it, and they were
Yeah.
like, it was fucking 5 months of misery. I miss it so much. And I'm like, you sound like
Yeah.
a vet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe I'll start with the Pacific Crest Trail. So
I
tell us
don't
more about the trail, man. Like what were some of the coolest sights and scenes that you saw on that trip?
know. The desert, like the desert's got a special place in my heart, probably because I had the rose tinted glasses. Like you're brand new. It's kind of like that when you join the military, everything's cool before you figure out it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Everybody's got their Oakleys, man.
yeah, everybody's got, yeah, and you're getting death before dishonor tattoos and shit. But I love the desert. There's this one stretch that was so goddamn miserable. It was
Yeah.
like 120 degrees, no shade, just fucking terrible. But when we got done with it, there was this mountain, and I think on one side was like, I don't remember the name of the city, but it was a bigger city in Cali. And you kind of get the mountains, some rivers, you get the desert, you can look down. That was cool. But like, I got the chance to hike in the High Sierra.
Mhm.
I think that might be top three. I got the chance to hike for 50 miles by myself in Yosemite, which
Yeah,
wasn't on the PCT, but I kind of just said, like, when the fuck else can I?
it's true. I've always wanted to go to Yosemite. It looks beautiful.
Dude, if you ever want to do a through hike, but you don't got the time to do a big one, the John
Mhm.
Muir Trail is fucking insane. And then I was actually a pretty decent fan of like NorCal. And
Yeah.
obviously, like the North Cascades were stupid pretty.
Yeah.
But to like a lot of people, I get that question, especially when I got back, like, what's your favorite part? And it sounds cheesy, but my favorite part was just meeting all these cool people.
Yeah.
And like you said, you meet people like every variety of person you could meet. I hiked with a 17-year-old girl who graduated high school early just so she could hike the trail. And then I've hiked
That's
with like
amazing.
I hiked with a 65-year-old guy.
Damn, really?
Yeah, he would just slow as shit. He just never stopped hiking. Woke up and until sunset, he'd go his slow ass pace. And last I heard, I think the fucker finished.
Nice.
Then
Well, I guess he's
everybody in
retired,
between.
so he could probably do what he wants, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was like, I've worked my ass off for God knows how many years. I kind of wanted to do this. So he's like, well, Granny said it was fine. She was sick of me anyway.
That's great. I guess that's one way to get away from the wife for a couple
Yeah,
months.
it's a wild thing because I went out there like everybody will.
Mhm.
If they ever do like these big hikes, they go out there for the views. But like when you get done a couple of years later, the only thing you talk about is like the stories you had meeting people and like making friends the whole way. Because
Yeah.
I hiked with like 15 different groups of people.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I didn't stick with the same because it's like, you're going a little too slow. Oh, you wanna do this. I don't feel like doing that. So I'm just gonna do my own thing. And meeting all those random groups of people. fucking running into a couple of kids who graduated West Point. They wanted to hike the High Sierra before they became like officers, I guess.
Yeah.
So we ended up spending like 3 days in Tahoe on the 4th of July, just
Nice.
partying. They were
That's-
fucking wild.
Well, they're going to West Point, so I mean,
Yeah. And then I don't know, at the end I finished with an Australian couple and some guy from like Czechoslovakia.
oh really?
Yeah, at the end of my last morning, I was like, all I ever fucking hear. These like European people never say it, but it's always these Australians. They all call each other a good cunt. And I said, I was like, and it's not like I can't say that in the US without getting into a fight. And this Czechoslovakian guy turned around. He's like, hey, conflicted. You're a good cunt. But he's like in that fucking thick accent you can barely understand. I was like, that means a lot, man. Let's go walk to Canada.
Oh man, I got a couple friends from Australia, and they call me a cunt all the time. It's just like it's just normal for me because it's like I talk to them so much, and so you say it to other people like that. I would never just fucking walk around telling people that, but you say it to people then people are like, "How dare you say that word?" Like it's a word. Stop being upset by a word.
Like Rogan says, you made a noise with your mouth. Who cares?
Yeah, I know, right? You got mad at a noise.
Yeah,
that's fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, I always like hiking with the Australians.
Do you keep in touch with any of these guys still?
Yeah, actually, a different Aussie that I hiked with for like 200-300 miles. So it was only like we only hiked together for like a week or two, but he'll hit me up on WhatsApp, and then my buddy Sweaty, who I never hiked with, but he was that guy I was telling you about that was just really PTSD'd out and just body was broken. I hit him up probably half dozen times a year now just to check in. Some guy saw me in Yosemite, thought the PCT was cool, offered to drive me from like Lake Tahoe to Sacramento, spend the night at his house, hang out with his kids. We stay in touch. Yeah, believe me. Talk about you get into fucking weirdest story on earth. And it's a long ass story, so I'm not going to go into it. But
no, go ahead, man. We got plenty of time.
So I'm coming down off Clouds Rest in Yosemite.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hike into Yosemite, and Yosemite is bigger than the valley.
Yeah.
So there's like meadows up top. Tuolumne Meadows is actually where the PCT passes through.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the ranger station at like 3 a.m. And I'm going to try to get a pass to do Half Dome, because you got to do Half Dome. Like you got to fucking do Half Dome.
What is Half Dome?
If you know the logo from the North Face, that rock where it's like arched and then it's flat on the other side, that's Half Dome. And you gotta Google it. When you guys, it's fucking wild. You got these cables and then these little pieces of wood for your feet, and you damn near go straight up the side of this rock.
Damn.
Just holding onto these cables, and then you can get to the top. Like rock climbers will actually climb up the cliff face, but
yeah, that's the shit that I want to start doing.
Dude,
have you seen the Dawn Wall?
Yes.
It's on Netflix. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Like that sounds terrifying.
When I was in Yosemite, I was sitting in the valley, Dawn Wall story. This dude, I was like standing there. I had to go get some like groceries real quick. And this dude walks up. He's like, "You doing the PCT?" And I was like, "That's random. Nobody knows what it is, but yeah." He's like, "You need a ride?" And I was like, "Fucking A right, I do." And he's like, "I got to go to the library. I'll see you in an hour." Just goes off. I was like, I think he was high. No, that was my thought. Like, that guy was high. I'm never going to see him again. I go get groceries, go get a burger. And I'm like, I'm going to wait around just in case. Dude comes up and he's like, "Yeah, man, let's go." So we're driving along to get me back to the meadow. Yeah. And he goes, he's like, "Oh, I just graduated college, so I decided to rock climb for 5 months before I get a job." I was like, "That's cool. I really want to fucking see the Dawn Wall." Because that's, what's the other name? There's the other name for it? We
Yeah,
stopped in
it's
the fucking,
the Don Wall is just the name of the documentary. It's called God damn it. I
yeah,
know
you
what it's
know,
called.
what's it called? But anyway, we pull over on the side of the road. I would carry bags of like cinnamon toast crunch with me, like the family size bag, and I just eat it when I hiked. So I
Yeah.
whipped out my bag of cinnamon toast crunch, and we sat on the hood of his car, like on a fence or something. He grabbed a pair of binoculars, and we watched dudes climbing for like an hour.
Man, that's insane.
Just
Oh,
sat,
it's El Capitan.
yeah, El Cap, and he's like,
Do that.
"This is what they're doing." Like he'd be like, "Oh, look." Then you'd see him like they'd swing, and then they'd be pulling up their bags of gear, and then this guy would be like, I was like,
Yeah, it
fucking,
seems absolutely crazy. Like I think next year I'm debating on doing a solo trip just because I try to do one a year or so.
you did Hawaii. That was
Hey,
the first one I remember. That was pretty fucking cool looking.
bro, Hawaii was amazing. I was gone for 8 days. My first day, I went up and I wanted to see this. I've always wanted to see the sunset from the northwest corner of Hawaii and on Oahu. So because there's nothing, there's no land in the way, right? It's just ocean, and so I've never seen the sunset over the ocean. Well, once in California, but so I drove up there and I drove out and I was just laying on the beach and I had my feet kicked up and then it was dark out. So out of nowhere, this Jeep just comes flying over this little mound and damn near runs me over. Like literally, it's like fucking a foot away from me. I rolled out of the way and these locals was like, "Oh, bro, you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm all right." They're like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "Dude, why you just laying in the middle of the beach?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I'm just gonna camp on the beach and I got nowhere to stay." They're like, "Oh, you want to come back with us?" I was like, "Nah, dude, I'm good." I just stayed there. I camped on the beach in tents, and then the next night I did the same thing. And I stayed in Airbnb one night. Dude, I climbed fucking mountains. I was going down waterfalls. I swam like right up underneath the waterfall, and I think it was Waimea Falls.
Yep, I've
And
heard
oh
of
god,
Waimea. Is that Waimea Bay?
yeah, Waimea Bay, and then Waimea Falls. You take
Okay,
like a little trail. The Waimea Bay is the one that giant rock that everybody jumps off of in
I've
Hawaii.
jumped off that rock. It's a
Oh,
pretty cool
really?
rock. Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't
I
do it?
No, dude, I was walking up there and they were fucking closing everything because of high tide and shit. And it's like, oh, a kid just died last week, so they're not letting people do it. So kind of sucked. But I climbed I climbed what was it called? Olomala Three Peaks. It's down in my brain's not working. It's down in the south. It's like the south central side of Oahu. But anyways, like three really cool peaks. And I climbed it and I was just sitting there and dude, I was in awe, man. I love those panorama views. It was so beautiful, but I lost track of time. And I was like, oh shit, the sun's going down. And I didn't have my headlamp. I left that shit in the car. So I was like, oh no. And I left my water. So I was hot as fuck. So I start hauling ass. I had a 2 hour hike and I had maybe 30 minutes to sundown. And so I get down in the canopy, and the canopy's so dark, like it's already
Oh
dark
yeah,
outside, but the canopy alone, because like it's a jungle. And dude, I was shitting myself. I couldn't see a fucking thing. And so it had just rained the day before, and so it was all like that red mud, that red Hawaiian mud, and
yep,
I was slipping left and right. I ended up twisting both my ankles. I had sprained ankles on both sides. I had shin splints on both fucking legs. I had never gotten shin splints, but it was because of all the slipping and sliding and shit I was
yeah,
doing. I fucked my shit up. So I was almost there. And then next thing you know, I slipped and fell down this little culvert. Like it was maybe 15, 20 feet. It was like a hill, like it wasn't straight down.
but you still,
But
that's still a shit your pants moment because you don't know if it's only 20 feet in the middle.
yeah, dude, I couldn't see anything. But the thing is, like, I slipped and I fell. And then when I went to get up, I heard fucking, "Reet!" It was a goddamn wild boar came out of nowhere and charged me. And I slipped and fell. And it fucking, bam, it rammed me right in my asshole. Like its tusk was literally like that close to going in my butthole. And so the thing hit me hard as shit. And so I just punched it, like jumped up and ran, right? So I just punched this pig right in the face. And in my head, this thing was like 9,000 pounds, but I'm sure it was like the cut was not bad. It was maybe like 3 inches long, but it was kind of deep. It was just really close to my butthole. I was just so happy that it didn't gore me there. But I ended up getting back up the hill, and I finally got out. When I got out, dude, I just laid down on the asphalt. I was so happy. And then literally 10 seconds later, just fucking torrential downpour. I had a mile and a half to walk back to my car. Fucking sucked.
Dude, if I didn't know you, I'm listening halfway through that story. I was like, if I didn't know you, I'd be like, you're making that shit up. There's no way you had any fucking crazy things. That's fucking that's weird.
Dude, it
That's
sucked.
wild.
The funny thing is, like, I went to the bar that night and I was telling these guys, and I had said something to the bartender because I couldn't sit down right because my ass hurt. And I came waddling in that motherfucker and I could barely walk. So I sit down at the bar and I'm kind of like, sitting on my side so I wouldn't put pressure on my right ass cheek. And so I was like, yeah, I got gored by a wild boar. And I was in a local bar. So there was like 6 people in there. And she's like, you what? You got gored by a boar? And so everybody looked at me and I was just like, yeah. I was like, I was just on Olamo 3 Peaks and I got gored in the ass by a boar. They're like, bullshit. No, you didn't. So I turned around and I showed my asshole to these guys. I was like, look how close to my butthole it was. I was already drunk. So, I mean, so they thought it was fun. I showed a bunch of Hawaiians in my butthole, which was kind of weird.
Did they at least buy you a beer?
Dude, they laughed hysterically. They bought my drinks for the whole night. It was great. I ended up getting hammered and I slept in the car behind the bar. They moved my car behind the bar so I could sleep there because I was too drunk to drive. And no shit, my dumb ass slept with the window down. I woke up to a fucking rooster in my fucking window. I punched that motherfucker as hard as I could, and I look over, and there's some Hawaiian chick just throwing fucking bird seed out to 900 fucking geese and chickens, and I was like, dude, right behind my car, really? I was like, it's like fucking 6 a.m. So that was a fucking rude awakening.
Have you ever heard of You ever heard of type 2 fun?
No.
You hear about it like hiking and climbing. It's like type 1 fun is like going on a roller coaster. It's fun when you do it, but nobody fucking tells stories about that time you rode a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Type 2 fun is like, God, it's fucking miserable, but it's hilarious and a lot of fun to tell about at the end. And type 3 fun's like, fuck that shit during and afterwards. You're like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, when you're telling that story, I'm like, that's some type 2 fun. Because at the moment, I'm like, I would have been so fucking dejected at the end of that day. But dude, then when you look back, you're like, but it's the best part of the trip is when stupid shit like that happens.
Well, yeah, because a lot like you did, I typed up long blogs. So you're part of the reason why I did that.
I think you were on yours when I was on mine, but whenever I got into town, I'd see what was up on Facebook and I'd see your shit. And I was like, God damn, that's pretty cool.
I was there 2019. So didn't you get done in 2018? Was it
2019?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when did you go?
February 2019.
Oh, so I was unemployed after the PCT.
So dude, you're part of the reason why I blogged that stuff. You're part of the reason why I went on that trip. Have you ever seen the movie? It's called Hector and the Search for Happiness.
No.
So I like movies that really make you think. And this one was he's a therapist and he's realizing that his life is just so fucking mundane. And he's not sure what happiness is. And so he goes on this crazy fucking trip and all this crazy shit happens to him. And he finally gets home and shit and he's happy, right? And then Into the Wild, that's the one I told you to watch. It's $3.99 on Amazon. If you haven't seen it, I'll fucking rent it for you. You got.
No, I'm gonna go check it out because I think you're like the third person that told me it's a pretty good watch.
It was such a good movie. This kid is I think he's in college or going to college, and he's a super smart kid. And he ends up just driving his fucking car across country, and then cuts up all his driver's license, his money, everything, and he just travels. He ends up going up to Alaska, and he wants to pretty much hike to this thing called the Magic School Bus or some shit. It's a real bus, but they actually just removed it because so many people have died trying to go out to that thing.
Yep, I've heard of that. I've seen the photos of it.
Dude, it's such a good movie. But no, you were part of the inspiration for me to write that blog because I wanted to share my experiences with people. And so I was just like, man, whether people care or not, fuck them. I don't give a shit. If you don't want to see it, don't read it. And so I started typing up these long breakdowns of every day, and I made it comical because nobody wants to watch some serious shit.
Nobody.
And so people thought it was fucking hilarious. So many people were laughing at that shit. And so I was like, all right, I like this. This is fun. I actually enjoyed doing this. And so initially, Warrior's Next Adventure was going to be a travel blog, and I was going to take veterans with me, and I was just going to blog about it. But now it turned into a fucking nationwide nonprofit. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
It's bizarre because we've talked about this before the podcast, where it's like I started that blog because if I didn't, I knew I wouldn't journal. And like
Yeah.
one of the things I told myself for the hike was like, I was like, do you want to be that guy, like the dad who's like a middle manager, makes a good living, nice enough guy? Or do you want to be the dad where like the kids come over and they're like, have you heard that guy's fucking stories of the shit he's
Yeah.
done? Like you want to be the second type of dad, even if you don't got a huge amount of money or whatever. That's the life you want. Everybody
Yeah.
likes that dude. But I knew if I didn't fucking blog, I wouldn't write a journal and I'd forget it all. So I did
Yeah.
it for me. Like I didn't give a shit about anybody else. My parents, I was like, you can read it if you want. They're just like, we want to make sure you don't die. And like, I think it was like 500 miles in, I found out like my mom was reading it and she had started like some hobby that she always wanted to do, but she never did. She got inspired. And then my dad said his coworkers were talking about doing shit because they were reading it. And I've talked to you about your experience after you
Dude,
kind of got little. And I was like,
I ended up getting a fucking TBI June 1st in 2018. I got knocked out in a fight. And so I couldn't fight anymore. I was super depressed. And like my fucking wife ended up leaving me 3 months later, 3 weeks later. So like I was going to shit. And so I was just like, dude, fuck this. Dude, fuck my life. I hated it. I was so depressed and shit. But I was reading your shit as you were going along, and I was like, why don't I just take a trip? So I went to Sturgis, and I got fucking hammered, and I accidentally partied with Hell's Angels. It was fucking awesome. And so I was like, dude, yeah, this is what I need to do with my life. So you were part of that inspiration, man. So thank you.
being even the little, like that little piece of like, I mean, there's a lot of people that I've encountered that I did like, I mean, I don't think I did a huge amount, but just those little, whatever contribution, it, yeah, it ended up being actually something I take away from the hike as much in some ways as what I got out of it. It was a
Yeah.
complete fucking accident, but yeah, I mean, you know, especially with all the shit that people did for me, people hitching, people would just barbecue for us, just like you look
Yeah.
hungry, so we got a group together. And I'm like, at some point, I kind of felt guilty, but then I started to see the positive impact I was making, and it kind of, I can see why you've got this nonprofit has grown the way it has, because that feeling is, it's pretty fucking amazing to
Yeah.
feed into people's lives positively like that. And it sounds super granola, but I'm kind of a granola hippie myself. I'm the crazy libertarian hippie.
Yeah, I've been called the veteran Buddha a few times because I fucking talk about meditation and spirit and mind and everything like that. But I could talk shit with the best of them, so I
Oh,
gotta make sure to find that balance.
you've heard me at the gym.
Yeah,
Like, that's the real shit, though.
yeah,
I've been talking to some of my buddies at the gym, and we're like, if you want to get down to brass tacks, like, that's the real shit where you can talk shit. But when it's time to get serious, you can get serious and you
hmm
can get that good mix. If you go too far one direction, you kind of turn into it kind of sucks.
yeah, yeah. No, I get it. That's part of the reason why I like tracks. Is because like like Stefan. Stefan is probably one of my favorite training partners. He's been since day one. But me and him will be like trying to murder each other on the mats, but we'll literally be having a conversation the whole time. And then one of us gets tapped out. We're like, oh, nice. We high five and we keep the conversation going. The next thing you know, one of us is in like a rear naked choke or some shit. We're trying to fight it as we're like talking about it. Bro, did you see that meme the other day? Just like, I'm just trying to make sure he can't choke me while I'm talking about a meme or some shit. Dude, it was like, I love that shit. But we like try to murder each other. There's nobody at that gym I try to tap out more than Stefan because he's better than me. So,
Yep.
me and him we go at it 100%. I love that dude. And like
Do you know?
everybody,
Do you know Jens? Do you remember Jens?
yeah, Jen's murdered me every time we rolled.
Dude, it's like when you bring that up, it reminds me of him. Like
Yeah.
there isn't a gentle roll, but the entire time we're goofing off. And
Mhm.
then when you get done with dudes like that, you shake hands and you're like, you want to go have a beer?
Yeah.
And
I love
those
that
are
shit.
and then a couple of those dudes, like I've had times where I'm like, hey, I don't know what to do. Something's up with my house, or just you could tell somebody's having a bad day.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then those are the dudes you can count on.
Yeah.
Not the guy who's always like, how are you feeling today? It's the guy that you're bullshitting with, and you're like, you ain't gonna get that chill. Quit trying. And
Yeah.
those are them dudes.
There's this move that my coach taught me, Mark Morton says. We call it the molester, just because it's fucking hilarious if you do it correctly. You know the Ezekiel choke, right?
Yes.
So
Love
it's the Ezekiel setup pretty much. And so when you get your sleeve in, before you dig your hand underneath your throat, you take your cheek and you put it up against theirs, and you turn your face, right? So
Yeah.
as you keep turning, if they don't look away, you're gonna kiss. So we call it the molester because, like, just take it, and we just whisper some shit as we're doing it, like, you smell so much better when you're awake. Just some shit like that. And it's super creepy. So we call it the molester. So somebody says something inappropriate every time we put that choke on. It's fucking hilarious.
Do you
I did
remember?
it.
Do you
Go ahead,
remember Jake?
Jake.
Redhead Jake. I think he was like a purple or brown belt when you were there. He's a black
Um,
belt now. But anyway,
isn't he the host of Jiu-Jitsu After Dark? Is that the guy you're talking about?
no, I don't think so.
Him and Chris Cleveter do it.
No, I don't think he does.
Oh, well, no, I don't know. Maybe he was a
No,
different guy.
well, yeah, he kicks my ass if he wants to because he's a fucking black belt. But we've been doing matches like that, or rolls, and it's like, you're rolling, you get a deep single, and you
Yeah.
accidentally grab their ass, and the other guy stops and turns around, and he's like, "Don't let go, baby." We're singing fucking Careless Whisper to each other the entire time. And at the end, some new guy will be like,
Those guys are fucking weird.
no, they'll be like,
Are they gay?
is it? I thought he was married. And coach is just like, I don't fucking know what they're doing. I've asked them to stop, and what they do when they leave here, I don't judge them.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
No,
the best.
I liked training at Spartan, man. It was fun. That was when I first like got my real intro into stand up, because at tracks I was 3-1 with no stand up coach. So it was just all old boxing shit that I did in the military. And so I was literally fucking I was pretty high ranked as a fucking, as a fighter with no stand up coach. So I was like, you know what? I got my ass kicked by Cam. His stand up was so much better than me. His wrestling was way fucking better than mine. So Tom really got me in shape, man. And then I did my first Muay Thai fight. I think it was March 2017. I fought some dude from Omaha. I fucked him up, man. Like I couldn't have done it without Tom and Kelly and those guys, and like Adam fucking kicked me in the head every day.
Adam Hill,
And then yeah, dude, his
nicest guy on
fucking
earth, and he's terrifying.
yeah, super nice guy. Fucking just kicked me in the head out of nowhere, and I'm just not expecting. He's like, "Oh, you okay, man?" It's just like, "Fuck, yeah, dude, I'm good." That fucking hurt, but we're good. But but no, I learned a lot with Muay Thai there, and my MMA got a lot better. But I got knocked out at
Yeah, I
what are those
seen that.
Muay Thai tournaments down in Iowa? What was that
TBAs.
called? Yeah, the TBAs. I got knocked out by some fucking gorilla, and he hit me with an overhand right, and I don't remember the whole fight. I actually just shared it because I had it on my Facebook. I'd never watched that fight before. I thought it was one round, but
What?
turns out it was. I thought that fight. I thought it was only one round, but it was two. So I got knocked out instantly. He hit me with like an overhand right, and I was out the whole fucking fight. I don't remember a thing. So I was
And you
telling
still
everybody
made
for
it to the second?
apparently I made it like 2 minutes into the second round, and I was telling everybody I got knocked out in the first round, but it was the second. Like that's how fucked up I was. I don't even remember the second round. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah, if you watch that video, dude, it's crazy because he hits me with I think he hits me with a knee in the sternum, so knocked the wind out of me, and I was coming down. Or did he knee me in the face? I don't remember. He fucked me up. I know that. But I got knocked out, and I remember sitting there, and I remember the start of the fight, and I remember sitting down against the ring on the corner, like, what the fuck just happened? And the ref looked at me, and he was counting. I'm like, nah, I'm done. Fuck that. I quit. Thank God I did, because I was I didn't get a TBI from, I got a concussion, but I took like 4 months off, and then I got a fight offer again, and I didn't want to drive all the way out to Oakdale because I moved. So
Okay.
I ended up going to the cellar for like 6 months, and then I got knocked out again the next June. So June
Yeah.
is not a good fight month for me.
I don't fucking understand you people that like kickboxing. I don't. Because I'm
Fun, but
I mean, I dig that like traditional karate. So like getting your bell rung with a head kick was a normal thing. My
yeah.
coach was a fucking prick who basically would beat me up trying to make me quit because I'm an asshole. And he would turn.
Yeah.
But like once I started doing jits, I was like, it's really fucking cool to not wake up with the headache in the morning. Like this is really fucking cool. And then I see
Yeah.
all you people doing that Thai boxing shit, and I'm like, I tried it for a few months, and then
Mhm.
people were like, "Oh, you should spar," and I was like, I don't fucking understand it anymore. I'm too old.
Yeah. Dude, the cellar had some killers, man. Fucking Pam Sorensen, dude, she rung my bell God knows how many times. She fucked me up a lot. There was a few times we even trained in jiu-jitsu, and she just worked me. I think she's a brown belt now, but she's fucking
Pam got her
phenomenal.
brown.
Mhm.
Oh
I
shit.
think. I'm pretty sure.
I remember watching her fight when the women's scene kind of started to open up like 5-6 years ago. Was
Yeah,
it? Did she?
she's the Invitica champ right now.
I quit following after I hiked. I haven't really paid attention to MMA for some reason. But
I quit watching too, man. I don't really watch sports anymore.
I only watched the Green Bay Packers because go Pack go. Fucking Aaron Rodgers is
And we're
God.
done, so we're gonna end this broadcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. I wouldn't blame you. It's gotta hurt to be disappointed every year.
Dude, I actually, honestly, last year I watched one game. I'm just like, dude, why do I even watch football? It's such a waste of time for me, because I literally would spend a whole Sunday just watching football.
Well, like,
Now I go hiking. It's so much more fun.
for Kelly and I, like one thing we do, um, one of the things with it is I was in a I'm getting married in October. We met.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird because I swore I'd never get married, and we met in the fall of 14.
Hmm.
So she stuck with me through the hike. Like we lived together, so she took care of my house, ran my house, like which isn't a lot, but part of the trade-off is now I gotta kind of do some long-term payback. So we go hiking with my dog. We got a dog a year ago, and we go for like 9-mile hikes on the weekend. But
Nice.
right about the time that shit's going down, it starts to get that Minnesota fall.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I don't really feel like going on any day hikes in this weather where it's like
Yeah, gets chilly
so.
as shit.
And that's the only thing that football does, and like 90% of the time I end up like doing laundry while I watch. But yeah,
Well,
I
it's
never
I
even.
don't I
Huh?
don't have anything wrong with like people who do watch it. It's just for me, like when I reevaluated myself, like I got a whiteboard not too long ago, and I put a quote on there that I decided to start asking veterans. And I'm like, fucking, I'm gonna ask myself, what's the benefit? To everything, right? So before I do anything or make a choice, I stop and think, like, what's the benefit to this? How is this going to improve my life? How is it going to make it worse? And why am I going to do this? So if I can't justify why I'm going to do something, I don't do it. I do something else. And I honestly, man, I'm so busy with this nonprofit because after we're done with this podcast, I have to record an intro, and then I have to go back to another editor. I have to put the sound on there. I have to put an extra on there, put an intro on there, add the music, adjust the volumes, and then I have to upload that to Libsyn, which will put this podcast on Spotify. Luckily, now that I upgraded with StreamYard, it'll automatically stay on YouTube and it'll automatically be on Facebook. So that's takes the $25 a month I paid for that is going to save me a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then I got social media I got to do. I got the 24/7 suicide hotline. So I got people randomly texting me here and there who are that just need help.
Which, by
Just
the
need to
way,
talk.
that when I saw you did that, that was fucking. That's cool. Like, I mean, God, I fucking hope that you don't have like You know what I mean? Like, it's not cool that that has to be a thing, but it's fucking really cool that you put yourself out there like that, because it's like, it's a, yeah, it's heavy shit. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I've been a 911 dispatcher for the state patrol since 2013. So I mean, handling those kind of situations, I mean, it's what I do.
Yeah.
And so that's why I decided to throw that portion of it into the nonprofit as well, because I've already talked veterans out of suicide at work. You know, I've talked kids. You know, there was a kid that was gonna get in a shootout with cops. Luckily, I got him on the phone and I talked him out of it, and he ended up he got arrested, but
It's better than it could have been.
he got out without a fight. Nobody got shot. They got the gun. They got everything. You know, and so it's like 911 dispatchers do a lot more than people probably think that they don't really get notoriety for. And so, like, anytime I see one of my partners do something I think is amazing, I'll send an email. I don't tell them. You know, I'll never tell any of the guys, "Hey, I put you in for an award." I
Yeah.
think that's fucking cheesy as shit. But I'll just do it. I'll send. I've probably sent leadership 20 emails over the last like 2 years or something like that, because our guys do some pretty amazing things. So my partners at the patrol are pretty awesome.
That's
Except Brent.
cool.
Brent's a dick. Fuck you, Brent.
Yeah, I always have to have a Brent.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I love Brent.
Oh, I know you do. You don't say fuck you to a guy that you don't love.
Well, he's a veteran, so you know we get along well.
Dude. Except for this fucking COVID thing.
Yeah,
I wanted to do, and this is a thing. Here, I'll add to your little bucket list. The Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim trail.
rim to rim to rim. What is that?
So you start on one end, I think it's like, and you hike down into the Grand Canyon, hike through it, hike back up to the other end, camp. So it's like 20 miles and 20 miles of trail and like 2 miles of elevation gain and loss. Then you camp or stay at a hotel, I don't know. And then the next day you do it all the way back to your car. So it's like 2 days, 4 miles of elevation gain and loss, 40 plus miles of hiking, but you get to hike down into the Grand Canyon, and you don't wake up and eat bacon and eggs and do that shit. Like, you start that shit in the morning, like
before the sun comes up. Yeah.
So like you get to watch the sunrise, you get to fucking experience the Grand Canyon in a absolutely crazy way.
Yeah.
And you get to experience both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds fucking miserable, but it would be.
It sounds amazing.
Well, because like, how many times do you know these people? They're like, I've been to a national park, and you're like, well, you drove and parked in a parking lot and took a photo in a national park. So when Kelly and I go to national parks, like, we hiked the entire amphitheater in Bryce. We did, I think, every hiking trail, accessible arch except for one in Arches. Every time I visit a national park, I'm like,
where's that at? In Utah?
Utah.
Okay.
We did last year. We landed in Vegas, drove up to Zion. We did that Angels Landing.
Zion was closed when I went there in May, dude. I wanted to go do Angels Landing, but we couldn't even go in.
That's what bums me out about this year, is like, there's shit I wanted to fucking do, but everything, like, even if you could go there, it was a bitch to get rental cars and hotels, and the parks were closed. So that's been the bummer of COVID. But if you ever get the chance to do the 5 national parks, and then what was the other one? Go to Grand Staircase Escalante. If you could take like a week, and do it. I think we did it in 10 days.
Where's that at?
Utah. There's 5 national parks in Utah. One of them is kind of like, you could base it. It's literally a highway goes through it, and you could take like a half day.
All right, is that Snow Canyon?
No, that's Capitol Reef.
Okay, we went to Snow Canyon, and we climbed on the I think they're called petrified sand dunes, and there was like a 350-foot rock face. I was like, I'm climbing that. And so my girlfriend just sat at the bottom, and she recorded me, and I got up there, and I was like, fuck yeah, I feel like Superman. And I found a beautiful ledge, and I went all the way to the end. I was like, get up here. And I started yelling at her. I didn't expect her to come up, but next thing you know, this girl starts walking to climb up this damn cliff face. I was like, no fucking way. I've never had a woman keep up with me hiking before, and that's not a knock on women. It's just the girls that I had been with were not hikers,
Yeah.
and she claimed when me and her started dating that she was a hiker. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna put her to the test and see what she can do. Dude, she killed it. She got up that hill so quick, and she doesn't like heights, and she trusted me, and she actually got up there. And so we took some of the most beautiful. My cover photo on Facebook is on top of that ledge. It's
Oh,
like
is that what that
350
is?
feet. Dude, it was awesome. It was so much fun. And then we got back down. We went on the petrified sand dunes, and I'm sure you've seen pictures and stuff, but we've been doing the acro yoga. So it's
I
like
think so, yeah.
acrobatics and yoga mixed in one. So it's like me holding her up and she's doing all kinds of acrobatics in the air
Oh,
and
dude,
shit.
I thought that was just Instagram photo ops.
Nah, dude, it's called acro yoga.
That's wild.
Yeah, so she's actually gonna start teaching that, and I'm gonna be her helper. But she just got a business called Rebels and Renegades, which I think is pretty fucking cool. She's a addiction counselor um, over in St. Paul, but she's kind of starting her own thing, which I think is pretty fucking cool. So
Yeah,
she's
I think
taking
I
people
saw something
paddleboarding.
about that.
Yeah, she's doing kind of like a recreational thing, kind of like I am with
Yep.
WNA. So I think it's fucking awesome. So we're gonna try and do that minimum if I can help her twice a month if I can. But it's actually a lot of fun. If you've done yoga, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu guys who do yoga too, but the acro yoga, you got to use strength and balance too. So it's really good for you. I like
Dude,
it.
I've done yoga. I've tried yoga. Much props to yoga. I'll be
It's harder
honest,
than it looks.
it's hard. It actually hurts. Like, I don't like it. I used to like to do like powerlifting and shit,
Yeah.
especially when I was like deployed. And that's not that bad. And I've
Hmm.
done the hike thing, and that was kind of painful. And jujitsu sucks. Yoga is a whole nother level of painful for me because I'm like, man, I could just like, not be stuck in this weird ass contorted position. The only problem I have with it is, I hate to say it, I get bored. I don't.
And yoga.
I get bored doing yoga. I try to like watch the instructor, and I'm kind of like looking over at my girlfriend, and I'm like, so I'm just gonna stand here for a minute. This hurts. I'm just staring at like the instructor. My
Yeah.
girlfriend fucking adores yoga. She like,
I like it. I meditate a lot though, so I'm used to just like getting out of my world. And yoga is actually a great form of meditation for me. So I actually really like it.
dude, what my meditation, it's actually like when I was hiking. When I hike, that's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of like what I do, because it's like
It's
I can't
recreational therapy, man.
you can't get fidgety. Try to get fidgety. Like one time I did, I hate to brag, I hate, but I'd like to brag about it. I did 66 miles in a day, and I hiked
Jesus,
for
dude, that's
24 hours straight. And it was like, it's kind of like these challenges that you don't really have to do, but it's kind of games people play. And I was actually the lowest mileage of all my crew because my legs are too fucking, I don't like it. So, but I
Yeah.
was hiking in the middle of the night. You end up getting in that weird meditative state because it's like you don't got shit to look at. You can't
Mhm.
fidget because you're just walking. And then you end up you get to a weird headspace. So you just kind of end
Yeah.
up floating. You just feel like a floating head for like 10 miles. And then you look around and you're like, holy shit, I am in a completely different area.
Well, yeah, that's why recreational therapy, I feel like, is one of the answers for veterans because yeah, there's a guy who just put out a video talking about how recreational therapy completely changed his life. I gotta figure what his name is. Um, but every single veteran who's been on a trip with me has either sent me a message or called me or text me within a week or two of that trip. It's like, dude, I'm like fucking inspired. Like, I want to do something else. Like, what's next? Right? I fucking love hearing what's next because I keep telling people it's like the whole reason why one of my slogans is explore everything is because when I was in Hawaii, I was doing a hike and I got to the end of it and I found this old, like, it was like an old guard tower, which is really weird. But you walk underneath it and on the bottom of it, there was something painted on there, and I can't remember which page on my website it's on, but it was just this white metal structure, and that had explore everything that was spray painted on it. And so that stuck with me, dude. And so I was just like, fuck yeah, just explore everything. So I started diving into that. Like, what does that mean to me? And so I started thinking, it's like, and many people know about my suicide attempt in 2015, and I gave up. I was selfish. I completely gave up on life, and I didn't want to be here anymore. Unfortunately, it was on one of my favorite places to be. It was on my Boundary Waters trip up in Minnesota, and it was so peaceful and it was so quiet, and I still just fucking gave up. And so I went back after I saw that painting on there. I started thinking, it's like, you know what? Maybe that's what that means. Explore everything. If you're suicidal, if you're thinking about, possibly ending your life because you think that there's no other answers, you haven't explored everything. Not
Yeah.
only just like looking around, not just exploring per se, but what about one of a million fucking hobbies there are out there? What about treatment? What about psychiatrists? What about, recreational therapy? What about climbing a fucking mountain? What about all of these other things that you have the opportunity to do in this life, but people don't fucking do it. They don't take advantage of what we have to offer here in the United States or around the world. And, people talk about how the United States is shit these days. It's like, you know what? Fuck you. You obviously haven't seen it. It's the majority of these people who say negative things about the US are either sitting in their fucking basement on the computer or they live inside one city their whole goddamn life. All the people that I know who have traveled the country and have actually made it a point to see the country and interact with people all around realize that this country's fucking awesome. There's some
Oh yeah.
amazing people in this country, and there's so many different things that people can be doing with their lives rather than, sitting there on Facebook. Put your fucking phone down. Get outside and go do something, right? Go see it for yourself. Like I see pictures on my phone and I'm like, I don't want to look at that picture. I want to look at that for real. The reason why I take pictures of the stuff that I do is because I do have a terrible memory because of my TBI and a couple other concussions and shit. So I want that picture so I can remember it, but it brings me back to that place, not just looking at the picture.
Well, I find during COVID, like I've been spending way like beyond too much time on YouTube and
Yeah.
like Netflix and just doing the COVID thing. And I find myself like even just walking the dog. We were for 4th of July, we went to I think it was like Afton State Park.
Yeah.
And I find myself like getting a little bit kind of fucking depressed just sitting around. And then we did that day. My girlfriend's miserable. It's fucking hot. My dog is ready to quit 5 miles ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I'm happy again. And you don't even realize if you're not doing shit,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even realize you could fall into not clinical depression, but definitely some level of depression. I think just that activity, even if it's not like doing something like I've done or the plans that I have,
Mm-hmm.
like just the jiu-jitsu. I've talked to guys in jiu-jitsu. You've had this experience where it's
Oh
a
yeah.
guy who's like, I don't take it that seriously. Like
Yeah.
I've had guys who were like, you're probably going to kick my ass for the eternity of us both training. But the activity of going in, working on something, socializing, the whole process
Yeah.
that's their therapy. And
Well,
they're
that's
like,
what I'm shooting a documentary on. I was supposed to shoot a documentary April through June. And that's part of why I was so fucking depressed recently because I had to cancel it because of COVID. But it's going to be called PTSD versus Jiu-Jitsu. And it's veterans who have used Jiu-Jitsu to either heal themselves or get better, using Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm interviewing veterans all around the country about this exact subject. And I think it's like you said, the mixture between socializing, just getting out of the house, but also putting in the work, right? Sweating your ass off and having dudes roll all over you. It's a gratifying feeling knowing that you learn something and you physically are working out some portion of your body. And so I put it out there to people who are either against working out or either don't want to just go lift weights or something like that. What I say to them is if you can't fix this right now, you can always go to the gym and you can work on the physical aspect of your body. Whether you walk a mile, you run a mile, you lift weights, you bodybuild, do some kind of workout, or go to jujitsu.
yeah,
What you're doing when you feel that pain afterwards, the healing pains, right? what you're doing is you're physically healing, right? Your muscles are healing, the fibers are healing themselves. And so if you can't mentally heal, you can always physically heal, but you have to go put in the work to be able to physically heal. And then eventually that physical healing will turn into mental healing.
Well, I know a lot of guys, it's like, I actually have one friend I can think of off the top of my head. He's not all, from veteran experienced and all of that level of trauma, but just from the normal course of mundane, I got kids, I got to pay the mortgage, I got to go to work 5 days a week.
Yep.
And like just the feeling of I'm doing something for myself. I'm working that process.
Mm-hmm.
I know me and a bunch of other people were just going through something as pathetic as I'm mopey because of a breakup. And it's like nobody thinks about the fact that like when I was doing CrossFit, I was working hard to take my mind off of it. But then, like you were saying, when your body is all beat up because you worked your ass off and you're doing something positive, that changes your brain chemistry.
Yeah, it's
That
satisfying.
does. Yeah. And some people will go, well, it's just the endorphins trying to offset the muscular pain and blah. I'm a little granola where I actually, if maybe that's it.
Technically it is, but
there's something
that's
else
what
going on
causes
there.
happiness. Well, I know, but that's the serotonin release is what causes the happiness.
But there's also something like Kelly and I went to Yellowstone in the Tetons before the PCT, and that was my test. If I want to cry when we're leaving, I know I'm going to have to do the PCT because otherwise I'm going to be miserable. And I don't want to live. I know I'm not going to be happy without this. And like Kelly sprained her ankle going up a mountain.
Oh no.
Like bad, like swollen bad.
Yeah.
And then the next day we hiked another 17 miles and she was like smiling the entire hike.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like you got a sprained ankle. During that trip, we slept in multiple unexpected early season blizzards.
Oh no.
But like the mental thing of like, I'm experiencing some shit that I probably won't experience again. And I'm working my ass off doing some crazy shit that I wouldn't do unless she met me.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry. And just rambling about it just reminds me about this shit where it's just like, I don't fucking understand how somebody could be happy without having a pursuit like jiu-jitsu or weightlifting or I don't get how people can live in this country and not want to go see this stuff.
Like it's so beautiful, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this is because if you're not going to go do it with me, I'll show you. I want people to see how beautiful this country is because it's absolutely gorgeous, man. Every single place I've been to, except for like, I don't know, Iowa's pretty fucking boring.
Iowa sucks.
Iowa's boring. I mean, the windmills are cool, but yeah.
Nebraska's worse.
Dude, I drove through Nebraska on the way over to fucking Colorado. It was pretty fucking. I went to Omaha though, and that was actually the last time I drank was January. But I went to Omaha and partied. It was fucking great. Omaha was awesome. The city of Omaha.
I heard Omaha is kind of like it's a weird place. Yeah. But I heard it. If you want to have some fun, there's some fun shit to be had there.
My buddy Tommy told me, he's like, the God damn it, what was it? He said the slogan of Omaha is like, going out to drink is like pretty much, are you sure? Like, or you're gonna get fucked up. So, we went there and we drank way too much, and it's not the reason why I quit drinking, but I was just like, that I don't ever want to feel like that again. And then I had to leave the next day and drive back to Minnesota. So I was just like, ugh,
I've done that drive.
Like crap. Dude, it sucked.
But
boring as shit too.
No, once you leave the hills, there's nothing in that goddamn state.
Yeah,
I've never been to the Dakotas.
South Dakota's awesome. You haven't been there still?
I drove through there. We did.
Did you go to the Badlands?
We drove through. I'm sorry, my dog is running around a little bit.
Oh, you're good. Dude, you need to go to like where Wall is. Just go south of Wall and literally just get a rappelling rope and fucking just get into those canyons, dude. It's great.
That's one thing I want to do. I want to visit one of my bucket list items is, I think it'll be like, I've visited like, it's like 19, it'll be like 17 or 16 national parks. A couple of them I got to go back to because I saw them as a kid, so I didn't get to really hike it. But I want to see all 52. And I'm like, well, fuck, I can get like 4 done in South Dakota on like a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
And I would love to get on that rappelling rope thing, because when I thru hiked, I was hiking with a lot of climbers and some climbers from Wisconsin. They talk about the shit you can do out in South Dakota is pretty fucking cool.
I definitely didn't do it where I was supposed to, because I dropped my phone in a canyon, and I had that's my only phone. So I literally fucking just rappelled down into the canyons, and I went down and got it. Luckily, there was no fucking. I think there was a little crack on the screen, but for the most part, the phone was fine. It was great.
If you ever have a chance to go out to Utah, go visit Escalante.
Where's that? I've always wanted to go to Moab.
I visited Moab. I don't know. If you're not a drinker, there ain't shit to do there because it's just a tourist trap. The only thing I wish I did there was rent one of those badass dune buggies.
Yeah, those things are so cool. Those were everywhere, man.
They were
absolutely
fucking
everywhere.
Cool. But in
Escalante,
it's a national monument, 2 million fucking square acres. There's signs all over the place, like, hey, basically, if you could die out here.
It's so much bigger than Zion.
Dude, it's it's 2 million square acres, and they're like, this isn't a park. This is 2 million square, like, fucking wilderness. It's just wilderness. We drove for 45 minutes to get to one area and did the slot canyons. So it wasn't rappelling, but like, you're climbing through a space that, like, you have to suck in your stomach to get through these cracks. If you like that type of shit, and there's hikes in there.
I already found a waterfall I want to go to.
That's the water. Oh wait, no, that's a different one. There's one where it's
that's one with the staircase, the Escalante National Monument.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's one where it's like it looks like a dome cave.
Yeah.
But there's like a hole in it, and inside there is just basically natural water, and it looks like a big ass domed swimming pool.
That's awesome.
I think you have to hike. They say it's like a 1.5-day hike. And they said, don't rely on make sure you bring GPS and a map and a compass.
Oh shit.
Like, and you could go 20 miles without water if you don't fucking plot your course correctly.
Damn.
And it's different than the PCT 20 miles without water, because you don't got the trail to follow. You're just kind of hoping. And then there's a part where you got to ford a river that's like can get dangerous during the flood season. And dude,
that sounds like fun.
It actually is one of the few places where I don't think I really got my fill. I was like, just got a couple of days there and went, God. And so, you never hear about it, but it's.
The other day we talked about the Wonderland Trail.
Yes.
No, that is over by Mount Rainier, and I was looking at that, man, and it's a 93-mile hike around Mount Rainier. Do you actually hike up to the top of Rainier?
I don't know. I know you hike. I think it's just the base.
Okay. Yeah, but it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at it right now, and it just looks amazing. So I think we should really look into planning that out. I wanted to say August 31st through September 5th. Me and my buddy Will, he's a veteran. We're gonna canoe the entire St. Croix River. So we're gonna try and knock it out in 5 days.
How many miles is that?
169 miles.
God damn.
Yeah, we're gonna push it out. We're gonna try and get a little bit more than 30 miles a day if we can.
That's gonna be a trip.
It's gonna be awesome. I can't fucking wait.
How do you do camping on it?
Because there's marked out campsites, so when you stop, you just pitch up a tent on the side of the river. So
you got to make sure that you like plot out your campsites.
Kind of.
Worst case scenario.
Luckily, Will is handling the logistics of that, so he's actually doing all that stuff for us, which is great. And then I'm doing the fundraiser stuff. I just applied for a fundraiser sponsorship from Garmin. So I'm hoping Garmin actually will follow through, because then I'll add them on as the official sponsors of the trip. So that'd be sweet.
Garmin?
Fuck yeah, dude! Now I'll actually I'll get a Garmin too. So
that would be a pretty dope. That's
yeah. The cool part is I can broadcast our location live, so people will actually be able to follow along and see exactly where we're at every single day.
Yeah, we had hikers on the trail. Their parents would they think the PCT is some wilderness excursion. It really kind of is and kind of isn't, but it's a highway.
Yeah.
Damn, it's like you can have two people can walk shoulder to shoulder on the trail. So, but people would still spaz out, and their mom would buy them a Garmin. And they said that their mom would literally
text them on the Garmin.
No, they'd text, and then the other thing is they'd hear mom would be like, "Oh, I saw that you just went through so and so area." Mom was following them on the Garmin.
Yeah. Because you can broadcast live, so anybody can actually see where exactly you're at.
And I heard stories about people on the PCT or the John Muir Trail.
Yeah.
Their family would actually do that. I'm at work, and you could log into a web page and fucking see that I'm on mile 37 of the John Muir Trail right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you can, and it's actually pretty nice too in the wilderness, because you can straight up fucking text when you don't have cell reception.
Yeah,
that sounds like a ridiculous trip.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's fairly easy. We just have to make sure we're paddling pretty good. So Will has done a lot of canoeing. I've done a lot of canoeing, mostly kayaking, but fuck it, why not? He brought it up to we talked about it back in like 2007, 2008. We were in the military together. And when he found out about Warrior's Next Adventure, he sent me friend request, and he came out to the Wolf Dogs with us. So I still got to get you up to the Wolf Dogs, man.
Is that the one where it's right on the coast of the Superior?
No, it's in Sandstone.
Where's Sandstone?
Just north of Hinckley.
Okay, because
it's not super well known. It's pretty small, so they're fairly new, getting started out. And so what we're doing through Warrior's Next Adventure is we're actually helping them build up their facilities, but in turn, we get to play with animals, which is pretty awesome. So
I'll get in on that. That sounds pretty fun.
Are you off on Friday?
I gotta check with my fiance.
If you're not doing anything, man, we're going. So
off work? No, I have to work. Unfortunately, I'm a 9 to 5
Lame. Guy. Okay,
dude, that is the unfortunate aspect of coming back. I would fucking kill to have even a swing shift job, just to have weekdays off.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You get weekdays? Oh, because dispatch, aren't you like 3 on, 3 off?
We choose our own schedule. So my schedule is I work Saturday, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then Monday, Tuesday from 6 to 2. And then I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Which is actually got to be super cool, because when you go and do a trip like that, you don't have to deal with traffic. You don't have to deal with everybody else around.
Yep. The problem is getting other vets who are available. So I have to try to schedule shit on the weekends occasionally, but I gotta get days off. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do Warrior's Next Adventure full time, and I can quit my job. So I got a couple things in mind. I got a couple things that are in motion. Got a couple pretty large grants that I'm hoping to get. But maybe within the next couple of years, I'll be able to actually quit my job and do this full time.
The state might have something. I don't know if you could partner up with the Guard.
The military is really hard to partner up with.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh wait, because
the Air Force, actually, I was working with a couple of guys in Malmstrom. I was actually supposed to give a speech in front of like 500 Air Force guys, and then the guys up in Grand Forks reached out to me and said that they'd like me to have a booth up at the air show up in Grand Forks, but it got canceled because of COVID, of course. But I was like, yeah, I'm actually, of course I pulled this out of my ass. I was like, I'm trying to do some motivational speeches about resiliency and everything like that. I was like, would you be interested in having me do some resiliency training for you guys? And he's like, fuck yeah, that'd be awesome. So I was like, what did I just do? I was like, oh shit. So I'm apparently turning into a public speaker too, which is sweet. And then I got a offer for Ellsworth Air Force Base too. So it's like,
The Air
People,
Force doesn't have the red tape like the Army does, because like the Army, you have to be like doctrine.
because I'm a nonprofit owner, it's different. Well, not owner, but since I'm the founder and president of a nonprofit, it's a little different with the rules for them, I guess. And it's the
I,
Air Force again. I don't know.
when we were in Utah, I'm sorry, when I read founder and president. At the end of our Utah trip, we ended in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I got to see the Mormon shit.
No.
You got to.
Yeah.
So we went to like the house that what's his name, the guy who founded Salt Lake City,
John
and every
Smith or something like that.
something like that. I don't remember his name, but we went through his house, and everywhere they'd be like the prophet and the president. So every time I see the founder and the president, or like all these titles everywhere, Kelly and I are like prophet and president.
Oh, you can call me that all you want then, I guess.
Yeah, that could be your new title: founder, prophet, and president.
I don't want. Yeah, that'll push a few people away. Most like
you're already the Buddha, dude.
It's pretty funny, but it's like, yeah, I can never be a Buddhist because I swear too fucking much and I like meat, so it'd be kind of hard for me to do that full time.
Oh, dude, I hiked with a girl who was a vegan.
Oh no, how'd she do?
I think I've hiked with multiple girls who were vegans. Every fucking time they got into a town, they had to get a shipment of their vegan food in. Okay, I couldn't be a vegan like you. I fucking love dead animals.
Mm-hmm. I tried the vegan diet for 3 days and I gave up.
But they were the healthiest people on trail because they weren't eating like fucking cinnamon toast crunch and peanut butter M&Ms. They were eating like kale and shit. So they looked healthy. But I was like, God damn, if I had any self-discipline and I didn't love dead animals, I would be a huge fan of that diet, but I couldn't do it either. I would go crazy.
Did you follow along when I did the carnivore diet?
No, I didn't see that. You did the carnivore?
Yeah, I did it for a month because I had a couple vets that were asking about it. I was like, you know what? It'd be hard for me to give you any kind of advice about a diet if I've never done it. So I did vegetarian quite a few years ago, for 3 months. That sucked because every time I saw bacon, I would just cry. But the carnivore diet, dude, I'd eat like eggs and bacon in the morning. And then for lunch, I'd eat like probably a pound of ground beef, or I'd have a fucking pound ribeye. And I wouldn't really eat too much more. Every once in a while, I'd snack on some chicken that I made. But dude, like chicken, beef, fucking meat, eggs, it's amazing.
I did the paleo thing back in 2011, back when people made fun of me for saying gluten wasn't good for you. I actually like gluten, but it's not good for you.
No.
And there was a chunk of time there where I was eating like the same thing, except for I'd add like some vegetables for lunch, just because otherwise I'd get backed up.
Yeah.
And I was doing CrossFit at the same time, brand new to CrossFit. I packed on 15 pounds of muscle in 45 days.
Yeah, dude, the amount of protein that you're getting and everything like that. And it's the lack of carbs too, so you're not like getting fucking bloated and fat. I lost 9 pounds in a month.
And you don't get hungry.
No, dude, I was never hungry.
No,
never hungry. Ever.
You can skip a meal.
It was great because I would take like a pound and a half, 2 pounds of taco meat, but I would use different kind of seasoning just to make sure there's no carbs in it. And dude, whenever I got hungry, I'd heat up like fucking a quarter pound or something like that, and I would just eat that real quick, and I'd be fine. Or I would just eat until I could like not swallow anymore, and then I wouldn't be hungry for like 5-6 hours.
That's one thing I don't like about society lately. Everybody is like the food pyramid. You got to have your carbs. You got to have your carbs. I'm like,
not really.
You can do a lot with healthy animal fat. You can go a long ass way.
Yeah, like, dude, whenever I would eat my ribeyes, I felt great. I had so much energy because the mixture of fat and protein was perfect.
You ever eat heart?
No, I didn't go down that road yet because I had liver a few times. Not a fucking fan.
No, it's disgusting.
I had some carb-free, it's not breading, but I'll just call it breading. And I would roll it in there, and I would deep fry it in olive oil. And it was okay. It was okay. Not amazing. I would never fucking eat that on purpose, but it was okay.
I like hunting. I'm not like Mr. Hardcore. My brother
Yeah.
is fucking obsessed with archery hunting. But one time I killed a deer. I killed a couple of deer. I got really lucky that day. And I had like 2 hearts. And I've been listening to Steve Ranella. So I'm like, well, I can take this pound of meat and I can leave it for something else, or I can take it. What's the worst case scenario? I don't like it. It's not like I'm losing anything.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking ate that heart. It felt like I just took like pre-workout protein shake loaded with creatine. Like I felt like I could jump over a mountain.
Yeah.
So now I'll go down to the butcher and I'll buy their beef hearts. I give bits to my dog. Dude, his eyes, his pupils dilate.
Get the fuck out of here.
His pupils dilate, and then he starts throwing like he doesn't talk. He's a pit bull, so he's not vocal. He'll start being like growling at me until I give him another slice. He's like, "This is some fucking high quality shit."
Yeah, I don't really feed my dogs much. I'll give them some raw chicken here and there, but that's about it.
We do. We figured out there's some shit from Costco that he likes, and but I supplement it with when I got like cooked like meat or something, or maybe a piece that ain't quite cooked well enough. He gets it, and he's turned into a little bodybuilder, I'm pretty sure.
I usually throw that shit to my dogs too, so
and he loves gristle. You give him gristle?
Really? No.
You know that pieces like your kid, do your kids like
the gristle? Like the burnt shit, yeah.
The shit that you're gonna end up most people throw away. I toss it. Oh yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's good shit. It's good for them too.
Do you have a dog?
I got 2. I had dogs back in 2009, and then when I got a divorce in 2015, I lost my dogs in divorce. And then when I got my house back in April, I took them back.
Dude, if Kelly and I don't work out, I told her, I said, if we don't work out, that dog's mine. I can't a man and his dog. There's something magical about that.
Oh yeah, I love these girls. They're amazing. Fuckers run away all the time, but hey, it's all good. I gotta fix my gate.
Something about dogs, dude. There's like
that's why you need to come see the wolves, man. It will blow you away how amazing it is up there.
I would get a kick out of the wolves. When I was doing that 24-hour challenge, I was walking by and the sun's setting. These people are setting up their tent in these woods, and right as I walk into the woods, I see a sign. And it says, "Caution, wolves. There's a wolf pack in the area." Like it was released here. We're trying to get some wild wolves back in the area, just so you fucking know.
Oh Jesus!
So I'm hiking in the middle of the night with a headlamp, 40 lumen. I only had it at 40 lumens to save battery. And then I'd hear some shit, and I'd be like, "Okay, that's either a puma, a mouse, or a wolf."
That's such a drastic difference too.
But then you see the eyes and you realize it's a mouse, but that's the only thing. Wolves, I've seen wolves before, and I look into their eyes and I was like, you kind of want to eat me. Probably not a lot.
Wait until you get in a cage with one and you have a wolf literally walk up to your face and smell you.
I have a pit bull. I don't know how that compares.
Well, a lot of these wolves are mixed with they're like hybrid, like German Shepherd or Malamute. So they're big fucking dogs.
Yeah, I heard that's what it is, right? I was listening to one of your things, and it was like those are the dogs they have to confiscate from some asshole who thought that he could keep a wolf as a pet.
Yeah, like I had rescued one with these guys back in like March. Pretty sure the owner was a fucking meth head. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the guy didn't look normal, and I think he was using the dog for like protection. So the dog was a dick when we got there, and he was like nipping at us, and so I turned my back to it, and I slowly started to back up to the point where he could literally reach out and bite me if he wanted to. But the second he like jumped up on me, I grabbed him by the throat and I put him down on the ground, and I held him down and I started petting him. Just to assert dominance, right? It's not being a dick. And so I started petting him and everything like that. And he got up and started playing. I was like, all right, cool. He's on our side. So we ended up having to John's truck broke down, so we had to take a pickup truck. So he rode in the back of the cab, right? So to keep him calm, I sat in the back of the cab, and he kind of just sat in my lap. It was great, and we got him howling and everything. I got some videos of us like getting him to howl like while we're driving and shit. It was great until he shit in my lap. That was the nastiest fucking smell. And if you've never smelled wolf shit before, it's fucking awful. Even the hybrid wolves. Oh my God, is it awful. If you go to the wolf dogs, don't step in that shit because it's going to stink for a long time.
Every story you have sounds awesome, but at some point you have some wild, bizarre thing like, yeah, I was helping rescue this dog's feel good moment, and then it shit in my lap. I was doing this hike. And you have like dude, I thought I had some weird ass stories, but
bro,
you got some.
I keep telling people it's like, I'll be happy when I die and nobody believes my stories. That's what I want to happen with my life. I want it to be so fucking unbelievable that everyone's like, there's no way. But then the people that know me be like, yeah, that shit really happened.
Dude, when I got back from my hike, I walked into Spartan and all the Muay Thai guys stood up and started clapping for me. And I was like, son of a bitch. I thought you guys were all going to assume this fucker's lying and he just wanted to take 6 months off the jits.
Yeah, dude,
I don't believe.
That was crazy.
If I didn't know you, I'd be like, that guy's fucking full of shit. There's no way you have this many crazy things happen to one person.
Yeah, it's funny because like when I tell the stories on Facebook and shit like that, there's so many people like, there's no way that really happened. And I'm just like, yeah, fucking ask this guy. He was there. Usually there's somebody there for a lot of this stuff. Unfortunately, Hawaii, I was alone. So it's like, all I had was a bunch of Hawaiians at a bar who saw my asshole. So,
Did you have to pull your cheeks apart?
No, I didn't really have to. The scratch was big enough. I just bent over and everyone's just like, oh, damn, put your butthole away.
Oh,
like
brother.
That thing almost like you almost got fucked by a boar. I was like, I know. Like, dude, you're lucky that thing could have tore you apart. Like,
Were you them peaks are by Schofield Barracks, aren't they?
That's on the east side, right? By that MXBN. Yeah, something like that. It's in Kailua.
Okay. I've been to Hawaii twice with the Army for I got fucking crazy lucky on my lottery tickets for Army trips.
Yeah.
And we got to stay at Schofield. And I was just popped into my head. I was like, God damn, those mountains are actually like, they're a thing.
Yeah, dude, they're beautiful. The mountains of Hawaii are gorgeous. I want to go back sometime. I have to figure out how I can justify this because I want to take a bunch of vets with me because this is the most life-changing fucking experience in the world. But if I could take like 3 or 4 vets with me to Hawaii to climb the big mountain, I'd love that shit. But dude,
is that the one overlooking Oahu?
No, it's the one on the Big Island.
The big. I only got to do Oahu, and I want to go back to some of the other islands.
I only stayed on Oahu. Like I'm working on possibly going to Maui for a vacation this December. I don't know if it's gonna work, but
I heard Maui is just stupid.
I heard it's amazing.
Like it's just like isn't that one of the places where they shot Jurassic Park?
No, I think that was on Oahu. I'm pretty sure.
But it's just I've heard it's just.
I got a friend that lives in Hawaii on Kenai or something like that. I'll ask her. But yeah, no, it's just beautiful there, man. Like the Oahu was the most beautiful experience ever, and I had 8 days to travel the whole island. Did you go into Mermaid Cave?
No, I don't know. I only got to do they have like that Kings Bay snorkeling. Mm-hmm. I did. Jumped off the rock a bunch of times.
The Hamanua Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty. I didn't know how to snorkel, and they didn't put the shit on, so the salt water kept getting in.
Yeah, but dude, I panicked.
Did you? Dude, I'm pretty sure I
had a panic attack Dude, I had a panic attack midway, and I was trying to like snorkel and swim and shit, and so I couldn't breathe, but I couldn't put my head above water, and that tube's too small. I got some lung capacity issues and some heart issues that I'm trying to get taken care of at the VA, but we'll see how that goes. But I panicked, and I put my hand down on some coral to push myself up, stabbed my fucking hand with a sea urchin, And I was just like screaming. So I finally found some sand so I could stand up, and I pulled this fucking sea urchin out of my hand. I was like, motherfucker. So the first thing I did was Google it, like, fuck, which sea urchins are poisonous? So luckily it wasn't a poisonous one. That shit hurt.
Just doing the coral shit. I caught I was like 16. And I think it was like an elbow and like a knee on that coral. Just that alone is like
it hurts, man.
Fucking worst. And it doesn't stop hurting. Like it's not like you got road rash. Oh, it's fucking gnarly.
Yeah, that's good times. Well, hey, dude, we both have jiu-jitsu fairly soon, and I got to eat something before. I just want to say, dude, seriously, your Pacific Crest Trail trip was so inspiring to so many people, more than you probably think. Like, we never really hung out too many times, but we hung out in jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yeah.
And dude, your trip was amazing. You know, like I said, it inspired me to go to Sturgis, and then I went to Hawaii and I did all this shit, and then I started a nonprofit. It literally was going to be a travel blog, so I could, you know, kind of do what you were doing. I thought it was awesome, and it literally turned into a nonprofit. So thank you. This is partially your fault. So appreciate it.
Well, like I said, it's fucking. I started it as a selfish thing, and it's humbling all the time to hear stories like that, and I'd be happy to help you guys.
I'm going to be reaching out to you.
Some of these trips. You better reach out to me. I can do shakedown stuff, or I don't know what Kelly is going to let me do, but if I can do it, I need to take some more trips. And some of these trips, like the Wonderland or the Rim to Rim, I don't think she's down for 93 miles in the Wonderland. So I'd be fucking down to get in on that, help you guys out.
I don't know if we can do it next year, but next July, we're actually doing a lottery. So any veteran who wants to climb Mount Whitney with us in California, I'm going to release it probably in like January. So everybody needs to start their own GoFundMe, right? So everybody interested starts a GoFundMe, and the first 8 people to raise $1,000, just $1,000, is going to get flown out to Las Vegas. We're going to take 2 rental cars, drive out to the desert. We're going to sleep in an Airbnb for a night. The next morning, early morning, we're going to drive to Mount Whitney. We're going to camp at, I think it's like 13,000 feet. We're going to summit, come back down, and then we're also going to hit up Boundary Peak, which is Nevada's highest point, which is like just north of there. And then for the 9th person that we're taking, every person who raises $200 increments. So like say you raise $1,000, but you weren't one of the first 8, you get 5 entries into the lottery. So if you quickly raise $1,000, I'll fly you out to out to Nevada, and you can climb the mountains with us for free.
I actually have a caveat. I bet because you told me about this on Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to think about it. It sounds like you got a pretty badass plan. But if you can go up, I think it's the 99 switchbacks, right?
Yeah.
To get up to Whitney. If you can get the permits to go camp, you go back down, and there's a big ass valley down there. There's
Isn't it like Boy Scout Lake or something like that?
Guitar Lake.
Guitar Lake, okay. If
you can fucking pull that off, Jesus, it's a bitch.
Okay.
Like,
well, I'll look into it, man. I'll check.
But if you wanted to do some wild shit, you would actually camp. I think it's a national park of some variety. I don't remember which one it technically is.
I think it's like the Sierra Nevada National Park or something like that.
Yeah, it's the Sierra is like 5 parks, but
yeah,
if you could pull that off, dude, that might actually be Kings Canyon and the other one. I think that's what it falls under. But when
I'll look it up at work tomorrow, and what I can do is I can get it at least planned out so I can see how long it would take, what logistics we're going to need for it.
Yeah, it'd probably be like it would be a tough day to get in, especially if you're not used to the elevation. And then the thing I'd say, when I did Whitney, I had watched video blogs, and I decided to do it at midnight, which is like super, I think like 30 or 40 people did it. That was fucked up. There was like cliffs and shit, snow and ice fields, and it's like,
oh no,
you're on the side of the tallest mountain in the lower 48, there's some fucking cliffs, and you're walking across ice. Like, if I there was one where you had to run up it, but if you slipped off the side, you're kind of dead. Like, probably dead.
Just a little dead.
Just a little dead, but like maybe you're just fucked up real good. But I got to watch the sunrise at on the top of Mount Whitney. If you want to, I don't know how people would do with it, but just shit to mull around.
Headlamps. Dude, that actually sounds awesome to actually see the sunrise. Because like I said, I want to camp out for a night. So if we leave, like you said, if we leave extremely early, we can literally just chill on top of the mountain till sunrise.
I think I started at 1 a.m. The only thing I'd say is I did it in like middle June. I left.
Yeah, we're doing it end of July.
Yeah, so it's going to be warmer, but even then, make sure you bring like even more insulation than you think that you need, because that fucker got cold.
Well, even Colorado, it was like 40 degrees, but the wind chill was like 20 or something like that. So it was freezing up there.
Yeah, we were talking about it, but those are things to mull around, and I might get a little bit on the Google machine and see what I can look at for the permit for that. Just because I did it, but I think
send me some ideas, man, because I'd like to make this one of the most memorable trips for these guys. Because the main thing is, I'm not just taking these guys on trips. I'm making them do something that they will never forget, and they'll always have something to hold on to. So I mean, it's all of this stuff is life changing. I promise.
The sunrise kind of sucks, to be honest. I live videoed it on Facebook I think I live video called my girlfriend. She was pissed because it was like 4 a.m. or something. But you can see, like, Whitney is tall, but it's only like that much taller than everything around it, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're going up, you're like, is that Whitney? No, that's Whitney, because they're all fucking crazy. And
that's why I'm excited for Hood, because Hood is like just fucking.
I was at Hood. That's where I finished my 24-hour challenge. There's that lodge there. Got the buffet. That's a cool place. But you get to see the peaks. You're looking from the top of the mountain range, completely surrounded on like 180 degrees of mountains, and you can watch the sun like slowly peaking in the shadows. The sun's going like this in the shadows, making weird different colors that you basically got to get in an airplane and see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. It's a motherfucker, but if you want some beyond crazy shit that people can't forget no matter how hard they try, that's some shit.
Why not just send me some messages, man, and I'll write that stuff down. I'll put it inside my notes here, because I got like literally a list of places I need to climb and hike, and it's a long fucking list. But every single one of them, the reason behind this is to take these vets with us, because not only you're creating those memories like you had on that trip with the PCT, you got a bunch of people that you're always going to have something with, no matter what, just like deployments. You might not see a lot of these guys from your deployments ever again, but they will forever be some of your best friends, even though you might not ever talk to them.
And you can have some crazy memories that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. Let's just hope nobody gets ass fucked by a boar. That'd be nice. I'd like to not do that again.
I mean, worst case scenario, maybe they find out that, maybe they liked it and it was just that missing piece.
Actually, I got a friend of mine who's a vet. He's got a friend who's also a vet who actually works at Diamond T Cattle, and I'm supposed to be setting something up here soon, and I might actually be riding a bull here fairly soon. I'm a little terrified.
Yeah, I've seen longhorns, and like my fiance grew up in Iowa with all them animals. You got more balls than I do.
Oh, I'm shitting myself. I'm not excited. I'm scared. I'm terrified. But hey, fuck it. I say do something that scares you every year, so fuck it.
There's a hike in Zion that you have to fucking hold on to chains as you're going up, because like you might not fall, but it's just
like Angel's Landing.
Yeah, and the same thing with Half Dome. Like you hold on to the cables, you could some people could get up, but it's just like it's nice to know. I am terrified of heights. I've done Whitney, I've done Clouds Rest, Half Dome, like all this shit.
Yeah.
Fucking terrified. So terrified that my knees hurt because my legs get so tight when I'm going up it.
Yeah.
But there's some fucking weird shit that goes on when you're like, do I want to be that guy? I seen that guy who got to the cables and got all the way up to the cables and said, no, I'm scared. Do you want to? It's like if somebody asked me to ride a bull, I'd be like, this is the last thing on earth I want to do, but I don't want to live the rest of my life saying I could have ridden a goddamn bull. So now I got to go do it.
Yeah. I got a whole bucket list thing, man. Like I said, I'm not supposed to be alive, so the fact that I am alive, fucking, I'm gonna do some crazy shit. Might as well.
It's cool, man. I think it's crazy what you're doing and how big seems to have blown up real. I mean, I'm
shocked. I'm not
watching
gonna lie.
on the outskirts of the
Mhm.
Facebook land, and I'm like, okay, he started a nonprofit. That's cool. He'll do some stuff here and there. And then I was like, this fucker seems like it's blowing up. It's pretty fucking cool. And seeing making positive impacts on people, especially people like veterans.
Yeah, and it's hard to reach a lot of those guys too. But man, the Mount Marcy back in July 2019, and then Eagle Mountain was our first hike. That was like July 2nd last year. And then we had, the trip down to Omaha. We did a fundraiser down there, and it's fuck, man. And then Colorado, it was amazing because I've created so many friendships, and I've met so many people that I've been talking to on the internet for like 5-6 years. And I actually got to meet some of these people in person for the first time, like my friend Holly. I gave her a hug like I've known her for years, man. It's like, it was just like, we're best friends. And it's because we're veterans and we bullshit with each other. It's so great seeing these friendships form, but not only that, I get to watch veterans try something that scares them, and I get to watch them push past their boundaries and actually accomplish some shit, and I see that pride inside of them, and that's fucking addicting. I love it.
Yeah, I got 1,000 stories of stuff like that from my experiences in traveling, and it's a rewarding thing from your side and from their side. That's cool.
Yeah, it's good
that's
times.
Really
man.
Cool, man.
We'll have to do another one, man. We just hit like 2 hours and 11 minutes, so
yeah,
that was good.
By.
No, it's great info, man. It's great content, especially because I want people to see other people, especially other veterans who have a passion for traveling like I do. It's good God, do it. If you were to talk to any veteran, listen to this right now, who is either timid or scared or hasn't traveled, what would you say to them right now?
I never thought of that question. Dude, you're never going to regret it. I have yet to meet a person that regretted taking the chance to go travel. And especially if you're doing the outdoor recreation, hiking, hunting, fishing, whatever you like to do. I've never met a person that would have rather gone to Six Flags.
Exactly. I would just say get out of the mundane, do something different. Well, explore everything.
Random kind of thing that goes through my head when you ask that is I was thinking about I bought my house and I was going to be the white picket fence guy, and then suddenly something like a switch just clicked, and I don't know why or when, where I suddenly decided, I seen people posting on Facebook about their trips, and I was like, that house is cool and your trips to fucking Disney World are cool, but once you get to see that other shit, it's just like, it's like a drug that doesn't have negative side effects.
Exactly, dude.
I've taken my girlfriend out there. She never slept a night in a tent. Now for our honeymoon, she says we can't camp. We're going to go to Vegas, but we're not going to go like fucking gamble. We're going to see Penn and Teller, couple shows. Then we're going to go. I'm like, we can go to Death Valley. I can show you like some badass shit in Great Basin. We're going to do like a day or two in the Grand Canyon. And I took this girl that was from Iowa, didn't hike, didn't camp, didn't do any of that shit.
Yeah.
And she took that fucking pill like on one trip up to the North Shore.
Yeah, it's
And
like the red pill. It gets inside you, and you're like, oh shit.
that's actually, I'm going to have to backpedal. If somebody asks me about travels, I would say take a trip up. If you're in Minnesota, just take a trip up to the North Shore. Give yourself like 3 or 4 days.
Dude, Tetigooch State Park, and go to that waterfall, or go up to Pigeon Falls or Gooseberry Falls, Devil's Kettle. Like, there's so many beautiful places up there.
And
There's
you
that
don't,
high ropes course up there now too, up in
oh,
Grand Marais, I think. That
I've
looks awesome.
seen, you don't even have to think about it going up there. It's not a big deal. Just go out on the trails and see some of that shit.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to think about it because now you're addicted.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend the rest of your life chasing the dragon, and you don't really get a say in it anymore.
Chasing the dragon. I
Yeah,
love that shit.
that's what me and you are doing.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
we're doing
exactly.
for the rest of our life is we didn't really get a say in it. We took one trip. Now it's like, well, shit. Now I'm stuck.
Well, my memories just popped up on Facebook, and I saw that today in 2018 was actually my first trip when I started traveling after my ex left. So it was like 20 days after my wife left me, after I got my TBI and shit, and I climbed Eagle Mountain up on the North Shore, and that
Yep.
was it. That was my pill. And I got to the top of that mountain. I was like, I just climbed the highest peak in Minnesota. I was like, this is bullshit. This is nothing. I was like, fuck, what's next? And then I went to Sturgis, and then I went to Florida, and then I went to Hawaii, and then I went to New York, and then I went, it's addicting, man. I can't stop traveling.
Yeah. Yeah. And once it gets in your blood, you don't, it's the best fucking drug. My brother has a rough past, and he's seen my hike. He's gotten into hunting. And now every once in a while, we'll be sitting there, we'll have a beer or whatever, and he'll be like, so what do you think about this part of the country that he knows I've been to? And you can just see that switch flipping in his brain. And I was like, well, unfortunately, you're now hooked. You haven't even taken a trip, but you've seen it. And now you can't turn it off. So let's have some conversations.
Yeah, dude. If I can talk one veteran into just exploring something new, man, I'm happy.
I have a buddy of mine, the guy that let me stay at his house in Sacramento, does Boy Scout trips, and I'm like, that sounds fucking miserable, because you're a babysitter.
Yeah.
But then he explains like he's taking these kids that never would get this, and he can see like not all of them, but everyone, a few of them here and there. He sees that switch flip, and he's like, now I'm on the other side of it, where I'm like, I gotta recruit my little groups of people and really help these people understand. And once he sees them get addicted, he's just like, okay, now I gotta get another one hooked. I'm their wilderness dealer.
Well, that's part of where the inspiration for the Little Warriors came. I haven't started it yet, and I don't even have a date planned, but my goal is to take like 5 kids. Like, if I can do twice a month, that'd be great. If not once a month, and I can take a group of 5 kids out for like 2 hours. We can go to, there's millions of places here in the Twin Cities to go hiking. One of my favorites over in Stillwater. If I could take these kids out and show them that there's more to life than fucking video games, tablets, and then watching kids fucking play with toys on YouTube. I just don't get that. And there's so much more out there. And if I can get, the hiking bug stuck into more people, I'm gonna keep trying.
Taylor's Falls. That's where my dad made me catch it. Is going to Taylor's
I rock
Falls,
climb there a lot.
Hunting. Huh?
I free climb the walls there.
Oh yeah. That's one of the first dates I took my girlfriend to. It was like, only a few miles, just kind of walking the little trails, just to kind of see if she wouldn't be miserable. I'm scared of getting into climbing because I can only be addicted to, I got jiu-jitsu. My dog, Kelly, she's like, you did the PCT, you got to, do a little bit of this now. And I'm like, shit, I would like to get into those climbing things just to get over my fear of heights, but I don't know if I got enough space.
It's dangerous, man. I've taken so many red pills. Like, I've taken jiu-jitsu, I've taken hiking, I've taken, wood shop, like carpentry, like all kinds of shit. I have so many hobbies, and we just had a conversation about that last night. And it's like, I have all these fucking hobbies because I can't sit still. If I sit still, I get depressed. I have to do something with my life.
I have to get back
Constantly.
into archery, but unfortunately I got that tremors, that genetic thing. So I got into archery after the PCT. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
But I just bought my own bow, quit using a loaner bow from my brother. And that's another drug. Jesus Christ. Because every
Yeah,
time you think you're doing good,
I'm
you're like,
looking at one.
you're looking at, if you get one, look for a used one first. You can get a
A
damn
bow.
nice used one. Yeah, that's what I got, a new one, but I ran a used one for like a year, could have ran it for 2-3 years. And then you'll shoot at the 20, you'll get good at 20, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm going to do 30. And now I'm good on all the bales. It's cheap as shit. You just buy the bow and the arrows and the basics. Then you find out that they got these little chutes, and you love this. You walk through these little, it's just like a little trail, maybe a mile or two trail, a mile and a half at most. But they'll have the stations. So you walk 50 yards, 100 yards at most. Then you'll see the stick, and they'll have some type of target, like a buffalo or an alien, and it's got and then you gotta, well, it's 37 yards, and you gotta sit there and lean. You're leaning like this, and one of them is like you have to sit on a stool because you're so used to shooting standing. Now you got to sit on this stool and kind of lean around this tree, and it's
Jesus Christ.
It's my brother.
Yeah, I should probably stay away from that. I see myself getting addicted to that.
And the worst part is you can I should have been shooting more, but it was partially also god awful hot. Once you got the equipment, there's an archery range damn near in most every town.
Yeah.
So it's a 5-minute drive, and it's free to shoot at the range. So now you find yourself like, fuck, I didn't shoot today. Oh, God damn it. Now I'm not going to be able to shoot, blah, 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 whatever my goal was. I'm getting rusty. It's like jiu-jitsu, where if you miss, I train 4 or 5 classes a week. If I miss one, I get the itch. I fucking gotta jits up and, go down into the basement, put my gi on and tie off. Like, I gotta go. I don't even care if you tap me 15 times. Come on, man. Just rear nakeds.
Yeah, speaking of that, I actually have to get going because I gotta get up to Coon Rapids. So, thank you, man. This was a great podcast. We went a little longer than I usually do, but hey, if it's good conversation, fuck it, I don't care. And plus, this is more so for me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that probably learned something about hiking. So, if anybody out there is looking for some more information, I'm sure they can reach out to you on Facebook. Reach out to me on Facebook and shit, and just get addicted to that hiking bug, man.
Yeah, get it. If anybody's got questions, feel free to hit me up. Or I don't know if it's hard to find me on Facebook because with today's political climate, I've kind of locked it down. But if they can't find me and they reach out to you, I can help
I can
them
always
out.
be the middleman.
Yeah, you can. But I'm real happy to help people get into this hiking thing, or even something as simple as, oh, hi, Kelly. Even something as simple, if you're wondering, like, the one big thing I'll leave you with is the biggest bugaboo I have. I don't like the hiking industry. I think it's the worst thing on earth because they get people like, I hate REI because they give you this impression that you got to go out and you got to get all of these knickknacks and all this stuff, and you got to spend all this money. And if you want to get outside, you can go to fucking Walmart and it's going to be good enough. And it's not going to be great. It's probably not going to be good, but you can go and have a good fucking weekend off of Walmart gear. And if
you don't need to spend a lot of money on gear, man. Like I'm a minimalist when it comes to a lot of my stuff.
You don't need it.
I don't really spend a lot of money.
They think I need a fork and a spoon and a knife, and I need to get it at REI, and REI always charges double for the same damn thing. And then I gotta get this stove, and I gotta get this and this and this and this. And I'm like, no, If you don't got a lot of money, or even if you're not sure you're going to like it, just cobble together what you can. It's not going to cost maybe $100-200, and you probably could go out for a 2-3 night trip and go out and have. Most important thing is just get your ass out there, give it a try, go have fun, and then if you really love it, then worry about it. Fucking hit me up, and I can geek out on you.
Yeah, I usually say just go bare minimalist, and then make a list. You know, if you like, oh, this would be nice to have, and then build your list that way. I'm not saying go climb like fucking Whitney and then start building your list. You should probably know what you're doing to climb that. But like just basic hiking or basic camping, just grab a fucking tent and a blanket, and that's all you need. You know, everything else, add on from there.
When I did the PCT, if I went through and told you how much stuff cost, you would be shocked at how less is more. And if you're just looking at day hiking, you can get by with that old JanSport book bag that's sitting in your storage room. Throw that rain jacket you got hanging out. Nobody gives a shit. I don't carry Nalgene's. I carry smart water bottles. They weigh less. They cost $2, you fucking grab 2 of those suckers, throw them in the side of your bag, and go for a walk. That's all you need.
Yeah, I got a Camelback. I think that's a great. Investment. And then those life straws, or the survival straws, the water filters and shit, because I will stop at a stream and fill up my shit because I think it tastes delicious. I
do the Sawyer Squeeze. You can get them at Walmart. It's actually cheaper to buy them at Walmart for the exact identical product.
Nice.
It's $10 cheaper, and you can literally dip a smart water bottle into a stream or whatever the hell you got. When it's full, you screw it back on. You squeeze the water bottle. It weighs 2 ounces, and it's about that big. Yeah, you don't need the pump. You don't need all that shit.
Yeah, no, the one I got literally screws on the water caps.
Yep.
And you just screw it on, and you just tilt it over. Like you said, you just squeeze it, or there's a syringe that comes with it. So you don't really need expensive stuff. But I think we should do another podcast and soon, and we should do it on like hiking and supplies and all that shit, because I think it would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, hit me up. I'd be happy to do this. This was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and hit me up. I'd like to. I don't know. I'm not Mr. Great at charitable stuff, but I would be happy to, help out and contribute to this thing you got going. I think it's pretty fucking cool what you've been doing here.
Just come hang out with us and post some pictures. That's all you got to do.
Fucking A. Let's be in touch.
All right, man. We'll talk really soon, okay?
Yep.
All right, bye.
Bye.